Album review. Oh, shit, I peaked too hard.
Yeah.
Let's hold that. Hang on, I'm gonna have to now dump that back in.
No, I'll do it again.
Okay. Album review.
Yay.
Today's album is not an album. That fucked that up. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Try again, boys. From the top.
Album review.
Guys, you got a chair.
And there's no album today.
Oh.
Fuck's sake.
Look, I think the issue is right. Hear me out here.
Okay.
Ever since you guys told me, album,
You're right. You're not funny anymore.
We were recording it.
Mm.
You've been doing this whole cut it out, retake that thing.
Yeah. Mm.
But when I didn't know, you just went with it. Just go with it.
What,
Yeah,
even
we
the
also
soaring
didn't
sounds
say
in the background?
Well, we used to go album review anyway, and then just go. It is funny though when you know you can cut it out. You're more just like meh.
Demo, would you like me to start it for you?
No.
Here we go. I got this.
Okay.
Album review 1 year special. Big on it.
That was perfect.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Fuck. Sip
Hey.
And today is 1 year to the day that we started album review.
Oh, woo! Yeah!
Woo!
Yeah! Woo! Streamers are going off. Confetti. Like those long tube things that you blow into and they make the noise. Those are going off.
Oh, I thought you meant those things where you like rock them back and forth and you go.
Whistles. Them like
What are you talking
You know the
about?
thing where you tilt them back and forth and it goes.
oh, the tubes of the
Oh my
wall.
god. They make the most awful noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
I don't get why they're a thing.
Did you used to have them at parties? Because they were like rich people party things.
No, my granddad used to have one in his house.
Just for fun.
We
Just
had
for
to.
just for the kids.
We couldn't even afford kazoos. We had to like put paper together and blow into it hard enough to make a noise.
Such a
Peasant
sad story.
things.
But the paper was tissue paper as well.
Oh,
I lie further. It was actually toilet paper
Ah, pretty used.
from the venue that we'd stayed at that we stole. Times are tough in the Wells household.
Sounds like it.
Yikes.
Sounds like it.
They're like a one-use thing though, because if you accidentally spit through it, it's just worthless.
I was gonna say tissue paper, not the most resistant thing. There's a reason they don't make aircraft carriers out of tissue paper.
Yeah, but didn't they make one out of paper mache? Or was that Phineas and Ferb?
Probably a Phineas thing.
Maybe it's a bit like the cardboard World War II tanks.
Right. Oh, what the? Yeah.
The ones where they did it just to make it look like there was like a battalion of tanks.
what like what do you call it? What Metal Gear Solid, where he hides in the box? It's just a load of people in cardboard boxes that looks like tanks,
No,
slowly creeping up.
not at all.
No, it was so that
Right.
when like they would fly over for recon, it would look like there was
Yeah.
a bunch of tanks.
Ah, I see.
So they'd be like,
I
"Oh,
thought-
Smart.
I was imagining like a proper like battlefield, and there's like these full metal tanks, and then the opposite side.
just like
It's just
we'll just
cardboard.
scare them off with lots of
Yeah.
cardboard tanks."
It's just the scare technique.
That's big
You're
brain.
ready,
though.
man.
That is big brain.
Big brain.
Anyway, back onto album review. So we're gonna go through everything we've done. Obviously, because we're gonna have to have another year special to the day when we started recording them.
This is gonna get confusing real quick.
What we should have done really is started recording a year in, and then it would have made more
Yeah.
sense.
When did we start?
Like,
Just
23rd.
before Christmas.
it
Didn't we?
was James Arthur.
No,
So-
no.
Ugh.
A year ago today.
A
Am
year.
I right, guys?
It was the
Today.
17th of November
Today.
we started
Right
recording.
now. A year today.
A year today
So the
What-
date we actually started album review
was today.
entirely
was the 21st of
It was
February.
21st of
Today.
February.
It's
Gonna have
today.
to cut that out. It's today, the 21st of
Today.
February.
Right now, today, the 21st of February.
Yeah. And the day we started recording album review. Does anyone know?
Much later.
The 17th of November.
There we go. So there's actually a lot of albums we've never talked about that we have done that are on a spreadsheet. Not sure if we can share that spreadsheet though. Can we?
Not in its current form.
No,
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
because it might
Probably.
be
I could
an
probably
idea.
save a copy of it into like a Dropbox.
It's a fucking mess.
It is a mess.
But there's not really like how would we even? Never mind. So we're going to talk about the old albums that we haven't recorded.
Don't bring up suggestions if you don't have solutions.
I'm
That's
just
all I'm saying.
Well,
What?
Go
You're
for
not the
yourself.
ideas man. You're not the ideas man.
no,
That's
No.
Joe.
I'm a dog's body. To be fair,
Joe.
I'm not
is
big brain. I'm small brain.
You're small brain.
Hmm.
Now look at me.
Joe, big brain.
Look at me. What am I?
The captain
Bean.
now.
Even smaller brain.
Big brain.
Small bean.
Small bean, big brain.
Yikes.
First album we did, we started off with what I thought it was a genius idea. Because I had the first pick, although we didn't really assemble the pick order at this point. But I thought it was a good idea to start with who won the British Album of the Year, which was the 1975 A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. So that's where we started. What can people remember about that album?
Thinking it was average, but
Didn't it give us the benchmark for what we classed as the average album at that point?
Kind of, because we
Almost.
all kind of agreed. We all gave 6.5 or 6.
yeah.
Which even to this day is probably one of the, I think if not the closest we ever rated an album. Like within
Yeah, I think
0.5.
been that
I
close
think-
since.
I think the thing is with the album for me is like the biggest thing I took away from it was the worst song, that How to Draw. Yeah, that stuck with me, the whole How to Draw thing, and I think I don't know, because maybe that signs of a bad album, but now like looking back on it, I would probably say that it's a bit of a better album than I would rate it. Now,
I could say I would definitely rate.
Well, you in Denver, you've had a bit of a 1975 birthing, haven't you?
Oh my god, I love them.
Yeah.
Since then, and like we said at the start, we didn't really know how to rate things at the start. Well, we knew how, but obviously we didn't know the average benchmark. And whereas now we've done a hell of a lot, and we can kind of gauge how to rate things a bit better. But
For sure.
since then, obviously, me and Denver have seen them live. In fact, I've seen them 3 times now since doing that, and it is up to my opinion now. I, for one, I'm pretty obsessed with them, and would definitely rate that higher.
I think it's because what seeing them live changed with them is a lot of their like weird songs, like on the
Made
album, you're just like,
sense.
what is this? Like, this is just some, like, this isn't even like something to bop to. But when it's played live, it's so much more. And your worst song was "Love It If We Made It," which,
I now really like.
whereas I'd say the
Since
rest of our
it-
worst songs that we picked, I'd kind of still agree with somewhat the worst songs.
Justifiable.
But I love 1975 so much more now that I'm to the point where I'm blinded to it. I'd probably give that an album like an 8.5 or a 9 now.
Yeah, same.
But that album scored 25.5, which, like you said, and was almost the benchmark. Considering from that point onwards, we kind of said about if an album scored 26, it was generally a good album.
Yeah, pretty
From
much.
that point. Moving on. It was then Joe's pick. We had Fall Out Boy Mania.
Ugh.
So I remember when I picked this album, I was thinking, look, we've all, except for maybe Denver, heard Fall Out Boy, if I pick another Fall Out Boy album, it's just going to be repetition of what most of us have heard before. And hell, was that a bad idea? Because going back and thinking about that album, I definitely rated it much higher than it should have got.
You gave it a 7.
I know, and I think I was trying to also like adjust to like the rating, which never really improved anyway.
No, you still got
My
it
ratings,
wrong
yeah.
constantly.
But yeah, I mean, you compare. I think the whole thing with this album is, I think it brought into my attention like the comparing strategy. So like you've kind of got to single out the album and not compare it to other stuff, because once you go and compare, was it Fall Out Boy Mania to like all other Fall Out Boy albums, you realize how bad it is. But on its own, not listening to anything else, you know, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, like I hadn't listened to any Fall Out Boy album previously, just heard a few of their songs, and I thought it was okay. Like I gave it a 6, whereas you guys, like Ed and Wirt, like bombed on it.
Yeah, because we kind of grew up listening to their older stuff.
We're diehard
Big
Fall Out Boy fans.
And to hear them change their music in such a way that, I don't know, I guess it kind of blindsided us. But I wouldn't say it was a great album anyway.
I've kissed Pete Wentz, you know?
Yeah, to be fair, me too.
Cool guy.
We
Cool
kissed
guy.
him.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it was consensual.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine then.
I've seen them a few times as well, actually.
Again, flexing. No need to...
Flexing?
Well, you are a bit, aren't you?
I am. First
then-
2 people I've seen live.
Kanye.
I haven't seen Kanye live.
Kanye.
Well, Will thought he would then continue to flex by showing his vast knowledge of picking Kanye.
Oh,
as his first
Kanye.
pick.
Kanye.
Yeah, but I chose the wrong album.
It was not knocked from the bottom spot for so long.
Oh, and Fall Out Boy scored 20, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
Right, so I feel like with the Kanye thing, though,
Kanye.
I feel like I'm one of the only ones that actually kind of likes rap in this group. So I don't know if I'm right in saying that,
I'd
but
say you like it the most, but
Yeah. I only
Well,
like a
what's-
couple of like odd bits.
Kanye isn't rapping. Kanye is talking off Kanye's head.
Pure
But-
genius.
you can't deny, like, well, you probably can.
Yes, I
but
can.
No, you're right. Yes, I can. I can't deny his maybe like his influentialness or the
his
fact that
production,
he's a relatively good
in
producer.
general. But like,
But what
I
I
liked
can
him a lot more
deny,
then than I do now. To be fair,
what I can deny is any form of talent, any form of
he's
just
definitely got talent.
that's no.
Right, we're not getting this.
No,
Maybe-
no.
Right, maybe his producers have talent, but Kanye as an artist and as a person doesn't have talent.
Well,
He doesn't even rap. He just says whatever comes to his head, and
that is
then
what rapping is, Joe.
Nice.
I mean but it doesn't sound like rapping. That's the issue.
I mean,
It doesn't really sound like anything. It just sounds like mumbled. Like he doesn't like. He's like, even when he like tries to sing, you know.
Those are my favorite.
He doesn't really sing notes. He just makes noises.
Joe,
What
you
is
got-
what is going on
are
with
you
your
alright?
throat?
What?
You're like,
Sorry, I think my voice is going.
But what was that moment in Touch the Sky where he just like mumbled something, and we kept making out as if Kanye's like, "Yep, that's perfect." That's
Oh
yeah.
The thing is, we reference that even now.
yeah.
The third album in, and we still joke about Kanye believing that he is the greatest thing to walk the earth.
It's like, let's not have the actual notes be played. Let's just have Kanye hum it.
Singing. Do it like me. Do it like me.
In all fairness,
like that.
I didn't pick the best album by him. Have we even said which album it is? We haven't.
Oh no, it was it was Kanye Last Registration.
Wait,
Late registration.
Late. I can't read.
Well, Well, my eyes are going funny looking at the spreadsheet. Anyway.
To be fair, I feel like I might pick him in the future with a better one of his albums. I just kind of went for one of his early ones for the first pick.
Great
'cause there is
call.
better stuff, but yeah, we'll kind of move on from that. That got a fucking 14.5. It was
14.5.
pretty hard, and even I
lowest
only
album.
gave it a 5.5 as a rating. So
And it didn't even deserve that.
But it was the lowest for a long time.
until Joe swooped in.
So next album was Shawn Mendes.
Oh, what an album!
What an album!
I just said about how 1975 we scored it so equally, but actually this one was equally like the same. Like everyone gave it an 8 or an 8.5, and it was our first 30, which at the time we didn't know 30 was going to be this like pinnacle mark for what is going to be classed as a fantastic album.
It was like it was own. 30 in itself is its own group. It's like a benchmark.
Yeah, like if we've scored it on average above 30, it must
pretty
be a
decent
pretty good
album.
album.
It's
And this
a
got
fucking
33.
Yeah,
It is a solid album, though, isn't it? Like,
I fucking love this album. I still go back to it now. Like, I really enjoy it.
Weirdly,
I
there's not like
bought
a
it.
bad song on it, but I
No.
do prefer this other album. I think the album previous to this one.
get you.
Maybe you should pick it.
Maybe
He
I
was
will.
only 20 when this album came out. So
Yeah, because there's the thing.
Kinda
Like, obviously,
ridiculous.
us also until recently, we had a rule where we weren't allowed to pick the same artist, and apart from like every 10th pick.
What
Yeah.
What is that noise?
that?
that's my dad outside with a wheelbarrow. It's literally just got a squeaky wheel. Oh my god!
God, I need some
Wow.
WD-40.
I know.
Classic. That's some labouring talk right
Some
there.
classic dad work.
That's some classic dad.
Like, ooh, stick some WD-40 on it, it'll be all right. That's classic. It's labour,
Oi,
isn't
lad.
it?
Hey,
It's a labour thing. Joe wouldn't understand. but
Joe's
that's
never
what
done
Joe-
Joe, do you even
labour.
know what a wheelbarrow? Joe needs a
did labour.
learning plate for his wheelbarrow.
Joe certainly needs a learning plate for his wheel.
Joe, have you ever pushed a wheelbarrow?
Yeah, Sports Day.
Oh my
Sports
word.
Day.
hang on,
like that.
do you
I
actually
like that.
push an actual wheelbarrow?
No, you don't. You pick up a friend.
Yeah.
and they run.
Fuck's sake.
What if your
That's the
friend falls
closest
over?
Joe's been to a wheelbarrow.
Your friend just falls over. And you're like, "Fucking hell, get some WD-40 on him."
Nice.
I have done some wheelbarrowing in the most recently, actually.
Bless him.
Yeah. So,
Let's yeah.
So Shawn Mendes scored 33. Fantastic
Cracking
album.
great.
I feel like we
Honestly,
said more about those 3 shitter albums than we have done about Shawn Mendes. I want to stay on Shawn Mendes
Okay.
for a while.
Okay.
No,
what would you
well,
like to
I mean-
elaborate?
I want to say how handsome he is,
Oh yeah.
and then pearly whites. God, he's
Oof.
got some pearly whites on him, hasn't he?
And that mustache, bro. I mean,
The mustache, yeah, love it.
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't
God.
have one, but if
no.
he did,
It'd be great.
I mean, I'd kiss him.
I'd bag. What?
I mean, we just watched that documentary about him as well, and he seems pretty
We did. I mean,
Just
you can call it a
a
documentary,
decent
but,
guy.
but Casey Neistat made it. Doesn't make it documentary.
A vlog
Well, what else would you call it? It is a documentary.
It's just a long vlog.
in essence.
with no Casey
not a
Neistat
vlog.
in it.
It's a long vlog with questions.
It's great.
I love
But
it.
he just
Love
seems like
him.
a genuinely nice guy, and he's kind of his
Unlike
rise
Kanye.
to.
Unlike
Yeah,
Kanye,
true.
who in the other documentary we watched was a fucking asshole.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift documentary. Oh my god.
Uh,
Man.
But no, I just think he just seems like a great guy, and it's like his rise to fame is pretty. It's pretty good how he started
it's
on YouTube.
inspiring, you know?
Yeah.
I think this album.
Oh my god.
Sorry, my voice. My voice is gone. This is one of the best albums that like stuck with me throughout all of album review.
Yeah.
And definitely one of the most that I go back to and play all the time as well.
I could honestly say though, throughout all of album review, I very rarely go back and play any of the full albums again. Not because they're bad, just because we go through so many albums, like I don't have time to go back to any of the other albums. Like realistically, me and Will both make playlists of our like top picks, and often I'll just replay that, so I'll just hear the top ones I said again. I won't ever actually hear the full album.
No.
But anyway, next, we had Z True Colors, which scored 19.5.
Yeah, I feel this was probably our first controversy that we had in the group, with Will rating it a 2 out of 10.
Whereas I loved it. Well, I liked it and gave it a 7. Will,
everyone else,
Aiden and Joe just sort of thought average. And
Will thought he was just listening to someone scraping along a chalkboard for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, again, because this was early on, and we didn't know how to gauge the score so much, and to be honest, at the time, I wasn't into that kind of thing, I guess. And it may have swayed my opinion. I would definitely rate this album higher than what I did. I still don't think it's fantastic, but I don't know how I'd compare it to the newer album of his that we did not so long ago. Actually, it was literally the last album we did review.
Yeah.
Not so long ago.
We established in that album that a DJ had killed your family. Is this correct?
Correct.
Avicii killed your family, so then you killed Avicii.
Oh my
Man,
word!
holy shit! Again.
Holy shit!
Shit's getting real.
I'm for real.
So what happened to Lil Chris?
Who knows? I think he became Obama.
Fuck, that makes so much sense. Tyrone, we're coming for you.
But yeah, like I say, I'd probably give this better than what I did do. And surprisingly, considering I did give it so low, the top 2 songs that I gave, which was Beautiful Now and Done With Love, I really like it when it comes up on my playlist. So,
we almost all agreed on Done With Love as well.
Yeah. Well, you all put that as your first, and I put it as my second. So.
So when did we get the first?
We'll get to that.
It's still not even the next one. I thought it would have been the next
album.
It
was not for a while. It nearly was the next album. So Z True Colors scored 19.5. Next album pick was Joe's.
Oh my word!
He decided to introduce us to some. Well, what? You say it, Joe. Do you know?
Well, yeah, because for some reason, is this the Apple Music thing?
No.
Oh.
We just kind of want to know what you would class this genre as.
Well, so this album was Issues Headspace, which was my first iteration into trying to get the guys to like metal, which is what I like. And and this for the whole year been trying to get you guys into metal. Not really worked yet. Kind of gave up on that. Maybe it'll make a return. I don't know. But this was my first attempt. For some reason, Apple Music classes any metal album I tried to pick as rock, which was slightly frustrating. But Issues, I would say Issues wasn't that metal anyways.
Architects was classed as metal.
Oh, well, yeah, but that is... Yeah, anyway. I'd say Issues is like borderlining, maybe. And the thing is with Issues, and this album in particular, I've not really listened to any of their albums, is that I think we all agreed on that there was like Hero, best song on the album.
It's a classic album review song now.
However, I didn't pick Hero. I picked Coma as my favorite, didn't I? But
yeah, which was just wrong.
Once again,
it was like the pure screamo song, wasn't it?
Coma?
What, Coma?
Yeah.
No, Coma wasn't.
I think that was Blue Wall,
I seem to
wasn't
remember
it?
it being.
Wait, you didn't listen to the album, well.
It was that long ago, to be fair.
We almost all agreed on Blue Wall being the worst and Hero being the best, apart from Joe.
Joe, who fucked both of those things.
Yeah, I did.
She's got a new album out as well.
But because also in those other days, see, I rated it 2.5, pretty low. Aiden and Will gave it only like 4s and 4.5, so it didn't actually, and because Joe rated it 7.5, it didn't actually bomb that bad. It was only an 18.5.
It got the same as the newest Z album that we did, or like, if anything, slightly better.
Yeah, I think the thing is with that album is that it was a bit of a one hit wonder, wasn't it? Like, as in, like, that song carried it.
I don't know. I
That one
liked Young
song.
and Dumb as well.
But I just don't remember them as well, you know.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
but-
crazy though that Hero has become such a like
It's a
what's the
staple
word?
of album.
Yeah,
yeah, like whenever
a
that
year
song comes
later.
on, we just love it.
Because I think it was kind of part of the reason why we did this whole thing was to like discover new music that we'd never ever have come across before, and Hero sort of so well sort of represents that as like just a random song on an album we would never normally listen to or hear by a band we'd never heard of, apart from Joe, and it's like just brilliant.
It is fantastic.
I don't think it is fantastic, but I love it regardless.
Yeah, well, it did start off as a joke because even when I remember first listening to it, I almost did give Young and Dumb my favorite song on that album. But every time it sort of became a bit of a meme, and loving it.
An internal meme, anyway.
Internal meme, yeah, not obviously viral.
Well, I mean, we can make it viral.
We can make it.
To be fair, in some of the things we've referenced in the last few videos, I think we've definitely mentioned Hero probably a couple of
Can't have
times.
mentioned Hero.
Or whenever we've said the word issues, we always headspace.
It's like a trigger in my brain.
Yeah.
To the point where I forget whether the band is called Headspace or the band is called Issues.
I at one point thought the band was called Hero, so
Makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah, I'm not a very smart guy.
So yeah, that scored 18.5. Next album was Will's pick with Justin Bieber, Purpose.
Yes, did surprisingly well with 26.5. But I picked that album because I actually loved that album previously. I think I gave it an 8, which was the highest. Trying to read this here. All the rest of you kind of gave it average.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah,
for
average. I gave it like
Joey seemed to like
5.5.
it quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it, to be fair. It's just sort of, it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
There was a lot of good singles on that album, I'd say, more so than anything.
I
That
think-
just there was so many that actually got in the charts from that album, and it's definitely Justin Bieber's peak.
When I
I
look
guess.
back at least my picks, I picked none of like the singles. I think it's because I'd heard a lot of the like the Sorry and What Do You Mean.
Oh yeah, you didn't. You literally didn't pick any of
And
them.
because I'd heard them all so much, I was fed up with them.
Yeah.
So
I get
so
that.
then when they came across, I wanted to skip them, and the rest of the album wasn't that great when you took out those. Hence why it didn't get that great of an album. That great of a
Well-
score. Sorry.
What's interesting here is I gave Purpose as my third favourite song. But like now, there's no way in hell I'd pick that as my top 3. I'd definitely keep the top 2, but like now I'm thinking about it, it's like definitely wouldn't have picked that one as my third. So it almost shows like it just depends what you're into at the time sometimes. Because now when that comes up on my playlist, to be honest, most times I just skip it.
Yeah. It's funny how someone get like that. It's like Mendez. I mean, I love all those songs, but when they come up in the playlist, I very often skip them because I feel like that album was so good together. But when you throw it in with some of the other stuff I've listened to, it's a bit throws it off to listen to.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So that's got 26.5. Then we moved on to James Bay, Chaos and the Calm, which was Aiden's pick.
It was pretty. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
We all gave it roughly the same. 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 7.
Honestly, this is one of the albums that I just barely remember. Like
I remember the first song
like-
very well.
They were all very
Yeah,
similar
that was-
songs, weren't they?
That was what I remember the most about it. Was the way that it started. Everything else can just like it's like oh okay, but the first song, it was an exceptionally good start to an album. One that I
What
don't
was
think
it? Craven, wasn't it? Craven.
Yeah. It's
I
not
don't
one that I've seen again like in a long time.
See, that was one of those albums that just benefited from it. Didn't really have a bad song on there, but to me, it didn't really have a standout song either.
Yeah.
No.
And the
So I feel
standout
like-
songs I had, again, heard too many times to the point where, like, didn't like them that much anyway. But it did score well, 26.5.
Yeah, it got what we classed as the average rating.
Especially
It's
at
like-
that time. So many albums in the early days got 26.5. It was crazy.
Notice how
Okay.
none of us picked "Hold Back the River," which was the number one single from that album.
Again, maybe it was
That's
just a case
interesting.
of heard it too many times.
We'd heard it so much.
Yeah.
Whereas probably people who'd never heard it or were listening to that album for the first time would have probably said that was the standout song. But do you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know.
definitely. I mean, it would be the song why a lot of people would have probably bought that album.
Yeah, exactly. That also got a 26.5, so the same as Bieber.
And then next we decided we'd each had 2 picks by this point, and nobody picked any females. So we decided to have
Women's Week.
a women's
Yeah.
week where we could only
Which
pick
was-
female artists.
I think, did it also fall on National Women's Day as well at one point? I think one of them might have
I
done.
think so, yeah.
Did it maybe?
It was weird. It was weirdly poetic.
When is it? National Women's Day. Oh, maybe. Shit. I don't know. Well, it changes every year.
Those women always wanting change.
For fuck's sake.
Wait, UK.
Oh god, this is a high rate now as well.
Yeah.
8th of March.
Where are we at on this one? 8th.
So it would have been during that. Oh no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
No,
We were too
no.
late.
We were late.
I
feel so stupid now.
But so it was my pick, and I started with Paramore, Brand New Eyes, with Hayley Williams being the lead singer.
And holy fucking shit, did that do well?
Scored 35, with us all
It's
rating it
what?
8.5 or 9.
It's water time.
Someone's just taking a lovely drink there.
Keep
Let's have
hydrated.
hydration, boys.
No, this album did really well.
But it's one of those I don't. Almost by the time we came to review it, I'd heard it so many times. I probably would barely listen back to those, apart from maybe the only exception.
I'm so surprised that you had Decode as your favourite.
I do like that song a lot, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't get behind it.
I think the thing is with this album for me, and a lot of other Paramore albums, is that I would always just think Paramore
Too much
bangers.
reggae.
Like, we'll get to that later. But it's like the old Paramore albums, all bangers. But I would never purposely go back and listen to them now, you know. And if I did, I feel like I'd feel exactly the same as I did when we listened to this album. You know, high ratings off the board, great. But then I would never purposely go and listen to it. It's really weird. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how it's come across to me, anyway.
Yeah. But again, now that took the lead over Shawn Mendes.
And again, I think that's something that stayed there for fucking ages.
Well, I think it's
Yeah,
still the
that's
second
smart.
best now, so
It is.
only one
yeah.
album beat it.
So what did it get?
35.
35.
So did no one rate it below like an 8.5?
No, it was 2 8.5s and 2 9s.
Fuck me.
It's still a great
Brand New
album.
Eyes. Fucking listen to that shit. It's fucking the best.
So nostalgic as well.
But I did deliberately pick that to try and beat Mendes.
I mean, who would do something like
It's a
that?
meta play. It's a
It
meta
was a meta
play.
play.
It's just rude, you know.
But
I
then
should have rated it a 1.
just super
The
meta
internal
play.
game. Yeah.
There is no game in trying to have the highest rated album or anything, but I think it's because
No.
I suggested to you to pick Mendes and it did so well. It's like, oh, I feel like that was kind of my pick.
Yeah, you feel like that?
Yes, and I felt like I had to actually have a pick that was up there. Anyway,
So it started Women's Week off strong.
it did. So then it was Joe's pick next, who picked Hailstorm, The Strange Case of.
And that kicked Women's Week right in the teeth and left it in the gutter.
So the issue with this album is I was like, right, I really wanted to do another metal album. So I just typed in, and I did know Hellstorm and I've listened to it before, and I pretty much just typed in metal album with female vocals. And Hailstorm was like the first one that came up. didn't really listen to it. I was like, fuck it. There you go. This is what
They're a
we're doing.
well-known group.
They're really well known. Like,
I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like it either. Like I could listen to them, and hence why we all pretty much gave it 4.5, apart from Joe gave it a 6. So it came to 19.5, which was the same as Z at the time.
The thing is, what I remember is that she's a good singer, but the lyrics and
but she seems to be a bit sex obsessed.
yeah, they're really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Just very weird and kind of cringy. Like,
Yeah.
what was it like? A lot of us gave the worst song. No, we didn't. Like one
Private
of the
Parts.
Private Parts, Daughter of Darkness. It's just a bit tragic, but again, she was a good singer. So, and I seem to remember the drummer being really good, but just a bit of a weird one, really. Probably not any of our type of thing as well. So, didn't
Yeah.
do the best.
No. I mean, what did I rate it? I don't even think I rated it
6.
high. So, oh, really? Well, that's definitely wrong.
This is a classic Joe of, this isn't that great an album. It's average.
Yeah, this was a common
It's
theme with Joe in the early days, where Joe would be like, "Yeah, it was okay, 7."
Yeah. Which is a pretty decent score, really, for an album now.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a weird album.
Next up was Sigrid Sucker Punch. Now this was literally, I think, the day it came out. We reviewed this one, or like at least you picked it.
I think it was, yeah.
Like Will picked it.
Oh, yeah, it was my pick. This was when I was deciding, because I think Billie Eilish's album had just come out,
Yeah,
and
came
we
out
were
at the same time.
deciding who was going to kind of pick it first, and because I think you all expected me to pick Billie Eilish. And
Yeah,
I did pick Sigrid, which I really enjoyed. I think she's great, to be honest. One of my favorite like pop singers.
yeah, because
Hey.
I knew of her beforehand. I was really looking forward to her album.
Yeah, like I say, I don't usually like that kind of thing, and she kind of, I think she's a great singer, and I liked her songs. So I actually surprisingly rated like a 7.5, but
They
and
got
Judy as
some
well.
good bops on there.
Yeah,
I was
It's
a
decent.
bit disappointed with a few of the songs. That's why I thought I was going to rate it like an 8 or a 9, but I went for a 7.5 because there wasn't, like, her best songs, I think, had been released as singles beforehand. Apart from a few. To be fair, I actually now can't remember which were singles and which weren't.
No.
But yeah, it was definitely a bit underwhelming from what I was expecting, but maybe I was just too hyped up, too looking forward to it, because I'd seen her live as well before her album came out, which was really good live.
Oh yeah, you saw it at Leeds Fest, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because I was there that year, but I never went to go see him. Who else was on?
And then, so yeah, that scored 26, which again was sort of the given average of a good album at the time. Then we moved on to Aiden's pick, who picked We Are the In Crowd, Weird Kids.
Women's Week.
Who I had never even heard, I didn't even know they existed.
I really opened your eyes to something special.
It did. To be fair, I would almost argue this was like one of the best picks.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to go that was your pick as well.
No.
This was my pick too. Oh, all right, then.
I never heard of them.
Actually, if you think about it, I'm the one that's got the spreadsheet. Therefore, they're all my picks.
Exactly. I can just edit it to be my pick.
Yeah, exactly. You can just put like a 0 on the end of any of them.
See, Denver has 4 different opinions on each album.
Yeah, just how I'm feeling on what day. Like, I only gave this album a 7.5, but man, I'd probably give it an 8.5 at least now. Like,
all of Denver's mixed personalities come into form album review. He's got his normal personality, his shut down when he's drunk personality, his super quiet when he's thinking about things personality, and then the weird crazy personality.
I love it.
All of them form together to create Captain Planet.
To create Ultron.
I was going to go more Voltron. What's the Power Rangers one?
I'd never watched Power Rangers.
You fucking what?
Honestly, I
Red
didn't.
Ranger. What an absolute lad.
What an absolute.
He was always the
hottie.
jock. And then when you actually look back on Power Rangers, it was actually always racist. It was so unbelievably racist. Where the big head, because the big head, just stay with me here. The big head like chose who was what ranger, and the big head always sounded like this, and he'd be like, "You woman, you are the Pink Ranger."
Wasn't the black guy always the Green Ranger?
Or blue, depending. You there, Asian person. You are Yellow
Yeah.
Ranger.
Oh, I never
And that was-
noticed that.
And it
Yeah,
was
shit.
always that every time. And the Red Ranger was nearly always like some form of like, Native American or something. So he was always redskin as well. So he was like, "You Red Ranger, the leader of the group." And then sometimes they literally had the Black Ranger. And like, you bet your ass that there wasn't a white guy in that suit. I could tell you that for free. Billie Eilish was next. I just went on a weird tangent there. I forgot how much I used to love Power Rangers when I was 2 weeks ago.
But staying on Wheel of the In Crowd for a second, like, man, that's probably one of the only albums I've actually listened back to the full album and realised I would rate it higher going back. And some are like my third favourite, Manners, that I gave at the time, is probably my favourite now. And that album getting scored 26.5, so it was in that ballpark of just good album.
Yay! No, I really enjoyed We Are the In Crowd's Weird Kids. It was I think it was actually better than their older album, in my opinion. Don't at me.
Yeah.
Not that you would know what that one was, Denver, but it was. I quite like their. What was it called? Was it called Rumor Mill, or was that just one of the songs on it?
I
I
can't.
can't even remember.
I can't remember. I can't even remember.
I can't even remember.
But it got a 26.5.
So it's decidedly average.
Higher than Sigrid though, by a 0.5.
Well, it's funny that you
Deserved it,
say
isn't it?
average. If you actually, I've taken the average based on all our ratings,
Mm.
Okay.
and the average score is actually 23.7, even though we can't give a 0.7. So 23.5 is actually the average.
So technically, we've just got harsher and harsher with our ratings.
Well, I think we just started. I think we
we
just
blew,
started.
we blew our load.
Yeah, we got rid of the majority of the good albums,
We got
especially
excited.
because until recently we had a rule where we couldn't pick the same artists again. So we weren't ever, once we'd like picked an artist we'd like, we couldn't ever pick them again.
You wait until the metal albums start coming back. They'll get that number up. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I think if Joe keeps picking metal albums, I think I might just have to leave album review. I don't know if I can mentally put myself through that.
Yeah, no, what will happen is it's the same thing that happened to me. You'll listen to it more and more and more, and then you'll like it.
No, I don't think it will, because I went through that stage when I was 11.
No, it took me 2 years to like it.
Right?
And at the end of the 2 years,
So we've had 1 year of
Yeah.
conditioning.
We'll be
got
fine.
one more conditioning year left.
I'm just saying, Joe, that metal's only liked by like ages between 10 and 13, and
Yeah.
then 35 to 90.
And Joe
Look,
fits in
and
that
I'm-
age bracket.
And
I-
usually them people that reach the over 35 and still like metal are either completely bald or have a mullet.
But I'm 21, don't have a mullet.
Right.
I am balding though.
It's going to happen.
So
And then they go on those Facebook
They-
groups and they're like,
it's-
"We're looking to form a metal band." And you're like, what are you doing? You're like 40.
He's saying the more I listen to metal music, the more hair loss I will encounter.
It's because
Oh,
it's
no,
so
I
relaxing
think-
it causes your hair to fall out.
I think you just become a paedophile.
Right? Oh my god, that was a jump.
That
I'm
is-
pretty sure that just happens when you listen to too much metal music.
Just-
One day you're like, "Man, I want to fuck some kids."
I mean, that's not happened to me yet.
Yeah.
No way, word.
Well, talking of people who used to be kids, Billie
Billie
Eilish.
Yeah. At the time of this album, she was a small wee babby.
when we
Ever
fall
since she turned
asleep.
18,
She still
I'm
is
not
really.
practical anymore.
It's ridiculous.
What are you talking about? We're only 3 years older than her.
Yeah, but
Everyone missed that.
to be as she's won a few awards since we reviewed this album.
Yeah, and what the
That
fuck?
album being When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
Yes, which I'd probably rate higher than what I did, to be honest. Which is, I do think I actually do go and listen to her quite a bit since.
I don't think I could have gone much.
I don't know. I don't think I actually would rate it high. Despite the fact I would say I like Billie Eilish, I like almost every other song not on this album. Like, I like all her other stuff, but this album, like, I only had, like... I mean, I really liked When the Party's Over, but the rest of them I can kind of skip over. Whereas Joe rated this album the highest, 7.5. Would you say you loved this album, Joe?
I did. I think maybe 7.5 is a bit high. But I still continue to like her. Actually, I prefer the new stuff that she's bringing out now. I think it's a lot better.
Well, this is what I mean. I feel like stuff she released before this album and stuff she released after this album is far better than this album.
I agree.
I feel
I
this is
quite like
almost,
this
she made all these singles and then almost forced herself to push out this album. Especially when one of them isn't even got a name.
It's just a number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we scored it 21 overall, so we didn't do that well. Maybe because Aiden absolutely hated it, giving the lowest rating ever given at this point, which was 1.5.
Yeah, I'd rather put a toothpick under my big toe and kick a wall than listen to this album again. I really despised it. It's just like, there's just nothing to it. It's just bass and somebody kind of whispering underneath it. If I wanted that, I'd put my head in a tumble dryer and put on some ASMR. Like, fuck.
But you like ASMR? I was surprised you didn't like
Yeah,
it.
but I don't like putting my head in a tumble dryer, Denver.
I do.
It's a pastime activity for you.
It's nice and warm. Like, I actually rated her popular song Bury a Friend. Although I've just realised for Joe I just put Bury Friend.
Bury Friend.
Yeah, I noticed that.
As the worst, is my least favourite song.
She missed out on an opportunity to have Bury Good Friend. Or maybe she should write a new one called Bury Good Friend.
Oh no, it's Bad Guy's the
Bury
big one, not Bury a Friend, isn't it? Fuck, never mind. I'll
Bury
cut
a
that.
Friend is one of the other big ones,
Is
isn't
it?
it? I think so.
It's Bad Guy that's the big one, isn't it?
Well, you know this kind of stuff. Is Bury a Friend a big song?
Yeah, it was a big song.
Also, I don't like how her title was all in caps, but all the songs were in lowercase.
Oh my
Why
word!
is
It's
that?
almost as if she can't write.
Like, I didn't like
This
that. I
is
feel like that was
style.
definitely an artistic choice for no good reason other than annoying me.
Other than maybe she just wrote it all in crayon.
But then
Maybe
fucking
you
Bring Me
like-
the Horizon did the same thing.
Well, then that's just childish as well, isn't it?
Maybe you'll like While She Sleeps' album,
While She
which is
Sleeps'
all in capitals.
We
Where's
should
that?
speak about Bring Me the Horizon now.
It's coming up soon.
Yeah, so Billie Eilish scored a 21. And then Joe picked Bring Me the Horizon Ammo.
Yeah, just came
Well,
out. I was like,
fantastic
this is
album.
fresh.
Fantastic
do it?
album.
Disappointing. Although I
Disappointing. You gave it a 7, Joe.
yeah, I know because the songs that were on it the songs were good, but then there just wasn't that many good songs. It felt like most of the songs were fillers, and then there was just the occasional good song. It felt like there was as many good songs as there should have been fillers.
I thought Sugar,
There you
Honey,
go.
Ice and Tea was a Fall Out Boy song.
No,
No,
they wouldn't write something that bad.
Sugar, what? That's a good
It's your
song.
second favourite, Aiden.
I know, isn't that tragic?
I mean,
It
I
took me a
don't-
long
I-
while to realise what that actually meant.
What does it mean?
he talks about it. It's just
SHIT? Shit?
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
but it's SHIAT.
Apparently, it's something that his parents used to say to him when he was younger.
Shahite.
It means shit.
So what, when you stub your toe, you go, oh, sugar, honey, ice and tea.
You go Shahita.
In my
I mean,
house,
you're not
when
supposed to
one of my
put the end in there. I don't
when
think.
one of my cats would do anything, my dad used to say "cooking fat" because if you place the C and the F around in the two words,
C and the F.
yeah, cooking fat,
I can't think.
fucking
I can't
cat.
do it.
Fucking cats. Perfect.
I couldn't like picture that in my mind.
No,
you
I
know.
couldn't. I can't picture mine.
Maybe you're all autistic.
Well,
Guys,
Sorry, I
Well, I
said
thought-
autistic, not don't.
I thought this
Damn.
was a great album myself, and I still love it to this day.
I forgot you thought this was good.
I really
Yeah,
love
you're
Bring Me the
wrong.
The
Horizon.
irony is one of your favourite songs is heavy metal.
Yeah, but it's
But
not a
that-
heavy metal song.
Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't
Oh.
heavy metal.
no,
Why
it was
not?
actually a song to
Mic
say
drop.
"fuck you" to all the
Fans
Well, the
that were
haters.
saying,
fans that were saying, "No, it's not metal anymore."
yeah, 'cause that's obviously how they started off. But
I think with that album though, I gave it a 4. I can't remember any other songs on it, but no, my voice is going. But the top 3 songs I gave, I do really like those songs.
yeah,
But I don't like how they did the whole Billie Eilish lowercase thing, apart from with Mantra and
Mantra.
all uppercase. Mantra's a great song.
it's their first single that they released for this album as well.
So Bring the Horizon scored 23.5 in the end. So even then,
Pathetic.
it sort of was countered by mine and Aidan, sorry's low ratings were countered by Joe and Will's higher ratings. And
Yeah,
then
very disappointing that it got a very. I was expecting it to do a lot better than that. I thought this is a band that don't do metal anymore. This is going to be great because they're actually going to like it, and they didn't.
yeah, because
Except for-
I know one of my friends like has a Bring Me the Horizon tattoo, and he said when he heard this album, he wanted to rip off his tattoo. So is it very
Wow.
different to their old stuff?
It's very,
very
different than their old stuff.
different.
Actually, I
Like-
kind of want you to listen, not now, but listen to just one of their first albums, like on their what is it, Suicide Season?
Is it very
that-
metal?
Oh yes, very.
that's just
Yeah.
like that's his voice in it.
Donald
It's
Duck.
Donald
Nice.
Duck. Yeah,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, we're already
It
finished.
ruined his voice
It was-
though for that
It
kind of
did.
stuff.
Like, that's why he kind of stopped.
But he's actually a really good singer, and I think
Ah,
in
he's
my
not
eyes
really-
they've evolved in a very good way. But like the
Whenever I see-
diehard fans that liked him before, obviously they don't like. Whereas I really liked them before, but I much prefer what they made now. But then my music taste has changed a lot, so I don't know.
Who knows?
Let's move on.
Next album. Will decides to pick a bit of a throwback, and probably I think still the oldest album by far we've had, and that's the Eagles' Hotel California.
Oh yeah,
Picking it purely based on the song Hotel California, not knowing anything about the album prior to that,
no,
finding out it's kind of wank.
I quite liked it.
What did you rate it?
7.5.
Yeah, you're
But you all
fucking wrong.
gave it below
I was
5.
gonna say
You are
me
just
and Aidan
wrong.
gave it a 3.5.
it was the first throwback.
It, wa- it wasn't even really a throwback because none of us had listened to it before.
True. We knew. We
It's
all
more
knew,
just like I wanted to pick some old because we were all kind of picking stuff that
I
was
feel
of
like
our generation. And I
I
thought,
feel like
let's
maybe
listen
that's
to
just
that
it, Will. Maybe it's because that we picked something old or like what is deemed as a classic. You may have felt that you needed to rate it higher than it actually was. I think same with that Foo Fighters album that we picked that ended up actually being kind of bad.
I
You
don't
still
know,
rated
again,
it
I
really
liked
high.
it.
Again, did you though?
the
Or
nostalgia
was
of
it
knowing that it
I feel
should
like-
be a
I'll be
good
honest.
album.
I've been honest
Yeah.
about like Kanye. I really thought I was going to like that, and I didn't. So I'm not going to just.
I just don't know, Will. I feel like
Give
your
something a
brain's
rating.
wired in that kind of way that you're meant to like the classics because that's just how they are. They're classics for a
No.
reason.
And that album
I'll-
scored a
I would be honest.
23.5.
Which, if anything, was higher than it probably should have got.
Actually, no shit. I've read the wrong one. It got 19.
If anything, that's still higher than it should have got.
I just
I
read the
don't
last
know.
one again. So it did get below the 23.5 average that we scored.
Which is a shame because Hotel California is an extremely good song, legendary,
Great
if you
song.
will.
Really good song.
But, sadly, it wasn't enough to carry the entire album on its own.
I actually voted a
Wait,
different song though as
someone-
my favourite.
Yeah. Live
Yeah.
life in the fast lane is what you chose.
Yeah, I remember you choosing that and thinking you were
And we were all
incredibly
like,
wrong.
what?
That's because Hotel California, I was like, it suffered from the thing that I'd started to notice a lot happening at this point, where when you did know a song from an album, you were kind of so used to it that other songs sometimes stuck out more. Even though maybe if I'd have heard the album for the first, if I'd never heard Hotel California, I'd been like, yeah, that's the best song. But I think Hotel California just drags on. And Life in the Fast Lane sounded like that Diesel.org thing, and I found it funny, so that one was my favourite. Do you remember the old like Yogscast Diesel.org thing?
The thing is, I was about to get angry at you for saying that Hotel California dragged on, and then the moment that you mentioned Diesel.org, I just laughed. I was like, fuck. It is like that. It is exactly like that. For fuck's sake.
So that's why I didn't think the album was good at all.
So if anything, you'd had kind of a bad streak here, Denver, of a 4 and a 3.5. And the next album wasn't an exception for you, but it was for everyone else.
Yes.
Fantastic album.
So we had Mayday Parade, Mayday Parade.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I'd rate it higher. I fucking would. I love this album so much.
This album scored in total a 32.
It deserved higher.
It definitely deserved higher.
It's a great album.
So that put it just behind Shawn Mendes.
But I think, yeah.
Everyone gave it 9s or 8.5s, apart from me, who gave it a 5.5.
Oh my god, I can't believe that's how bad you rated it. Ugh.
It's because I didn't like, and I still would say to this day, just don't vibe with Mayday Parade. Like, I just don't feel like I connect with the way he sings it. I don't think he sounds particularly good.
Fuck you.
I agree. What he said,
and I don't know. And none of the songs, I just don't feel them. I think that the only song I like is Satellite, and that wasn't even on this album.
I feel like you lack the emotional attachment that the rest of us hold dear to these albums from Mayday Parade.
This is probably like Mayday Parade in general is so nostalgic to me, and I think one of the reasons I love them so much.
I think you're blinded by the nostalgia, though.
I don't think we are, because he's a great singer, and to me, none of the songs are bad, and they all kind of have like good meanings, and I don't know, I think they're fantastic.
They're all great. I fucking love every song on this album. Even the song that I rated the worst, I would still give higher than normal.
I think I remember quite quickly going, "Yep, this is the worst song, but it's not really. It's just as good as the others."
I remember listening to it though, because also back then for the first albums, I used to get my rating by rating every song individually and then just getting the average, and that's what I gave my ratings. I did change that up later because I realised that rating system would cause an album to never be a 10 unless every song was like the best song ever, which just never happens. So I changed up my rating later on. But this album, I just remember going through and thinking, like, nothing stood out. I couldn't tell if something was better or worse than the last song I just heard, which kind of makes sense to why you guys love them all. But if your base level is kind of meh, they're all kind of meh. Whereas you guys, they're all fantastic, and because they're all so close in how good they are, you think they're all fantastic. To me, they were just all like, none of them were that great, but none of them were that bad. Hence why it got a 5.5.
It just reminds me of playing Minecraft.
Yeah, me too.
Minecraft.
Which is what you said to him though when you met him.
Yeah, when I met the band, I was like, I used to play Minecraft to you.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Well, I kind of said how like me and Aiden. That's like it. Well, it reminds me of me and one of my best mates, like growing up as a teenager, and he was just like, "Oh, that's really cool." He didn't really make it into a big thing.
Yeah. Well, he should have.
But then obviously, because I'd gone with Lisa, that was like one of the things that me and Lisa first spoke about as well, was the fact that we both loved Mayday Parade, and it was one of the first things that we actually spoke about. So it was kind of cool to talk to him about that as well. And it was like, oh, we don't get. Oh, we've had a few people say that actually, that it was one of the things that got them talking to like their girlfriends or whatever. But
Feels good to be original, doesn't it?
yeah, but yeah, it was cool. They were nice guys. Obviously the band has changed since that as well. They've had a member leave. Moving on.
Then the next album we did was Taylor Swift Fearless, which scored 23. Thank God.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
What do you mean? Fantastic
Oh,
album.
sorry. I've just got PTSD from the awful documentary
Thanks. Next
that
joke.
I totally watched.
What? Oh,
That
fuck.
I thought you didn't
documentary
watch
that just
any
came
of it.
out. I know I didn't.
Watch it.
There's a reason.
I watched it. All it showed is that Kanye was a prick.
Yeah.
I quite liked it. And I don't
Kanye?
I liked it. Not Kanye. Kanye's a
it
nut.
has changed my opinion on Taylor Swift a bit.
I love your internet.
But I think that is one of my favourite albums.
I fucking
Taylor
loved
Swift.
it. That was like we had like 2 bangers back to back.
I
Mayday
mean,
Parade, Taylor Swift.
to be fair, I gave this album a 5 back in the day, and I don't remember thinking it was average because I think I just have a very very biased view against Taylor Swift, and that's that.
This is what I
Not
mean.
a
You have
vote.
a biased view against it,
Yeah.
but actually, when
Yeah.
you listen to it, you don't mind it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I apparently I did like. I can't really remember listening to this album all that much, but
It's probably one of those albums, Joe, that you claimed you listened to 3 times but didn't, and just
but
picked
only
random
listened
things.
to. Yeah, I just listened to one song and was like, nah, fam. Not
Isn't that
listening
the thing that Joe secretly admitted to you that
Yes,
he did?
exactly. That's what I'm
I
saying.
Yo.
definitely never did that.
You literally
Take that
told
to
me
your
that.
grave. Take it to the grave along with the can thing.
But yeah, so me and Aiden gave it an 8. Joe gave it a
Fucking-
5.
What a banger! I loved it.
Will gave it a 2.
I didn't enjoy it at all.
It's got that nice blend of acoustic and the great singing from, is it Nashville?
Yeah.
Nashville,
is it-
Tennessee.
That's racist.
I just
What was
remember
it,
really
Fearless?
liking that Jump Then
Yeah.
Fall song. Like I remember that. I can't remember how it goes, but I can remember enjoying it.
I love so many songs off that album, to be fair. Like,
Yeah.
Breathe is one of my favourites, even though it wasn't even in my top 3 there.
You've got what's that? Hey Stephen? Hey Stephen?
Hey, Stephen.
What did Stephen say?
He didn't reply. Really sad story, actually.
One thing I'd like to say is one of the songs that I didn't put in my top 3 is actually one that I probably like the most now. And that is You Belong With Me,
Yes. The classic.
which is actually a really good song. That's probably... I don't know. So I'd probably up the rating now to like a 3 or a 4 maybe. Just
I feel
'cause
like
that
though you
song
didn't
is
like
great.
most of it because you found it was like cringy. Like,
Oh, it was really cringy.
It-
but I feel like You
It-
Belong With Me is like the most cringy one.
Right, yeah, but the thing is, it bobs, you know?
It
Like, so
bopped.
it has
They all
redeeming
bob.
qualities. No, they don't. Let's be
No, they
honest.
don't. But a lot
I
of
mean,
them
I put
bob.
Love Story as my first, and I fucking kind of despise Love Story. So,
No, you don't.
yeah, you're right. You caught me.
To be fair,
straight
I'm
away.
also not a huge fan of Love Story.
No, you like it too.
You're right. I do like it.
It's just a
See,
bit.
I keep catching people out.
It's just
No.
a bit overplayed, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're
it
wrong.
is.
It was at the time. Like,
No.
now it's just.
It's,
needs to
it's
come
on
back.
every day now. I'm fed up with it.
Yeah. Links
know how-
FM, love it.
What?
Fucking hell.
Yeah, things need to come back into circulation.
Just listen to
Right,
Links
there-
FM. They recirc things all the time.
I do listen to Links FM, and like, you know, it's a, you know,
They really went through a phase of love in circles. They don't play it now, but
it's
They
a
should
shame
do.
because they did play it like every 3 songs, didn't they?
They did.
They're just
Fucking- ah,
It's great.
they're big into the new Billie Eilish song now, aren't they? They're just playing that constantly.
oh yeah, the
Well,
No
it's
Time
James
to Die.
Bond, so it's for the old
Mm.
old people, innit?
boring. It's a boring song.
It's not as good.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that
kinda
scored 23. Next album, I Prevail, Trauma,
Ah,
Wait, how
fucking-
did it only score 23?
because Will tanked it with 2.
Oh yeah, you give it a 2.
Joe only gave it a 5 as well.
Yeah,
But
but like
just you and
me
Denver
and-
gave it an 8.
it
Because
deserved
me and
an
Will,
8.
me and
It
Aiden.
did not.
definitely did not deserve any more than that.
did. It was a really good album.
It's like a fucking shitty Disney album for.
If any of Joe's
teenage
metal
girls.
albums got higher than that, it's killing time, right?
I don't know what was your best.
What was your best shit album, Joe?
What's my
I
best
think your
metal?
best is I Prevail, right?
Is it? I think it must be the next. Yeah, I Prevail because.
Which is
No,
which you
you
rated a
did,
9.
Right before we get into that,
Oh,
The
fuck.
Fame. What about The Fame? Joe picked The Fame.
That's not
Yeah,
metal,
it's
though.
not a metal album.
That's
Oh, we're
not
not.
a metal
Oh, you're
album,
talking
yeah.
about just metal albums.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 'cause
Metal album,
Joe's got a
yeah.
30.
Yeah, Joe has a 30.
I did. It's not a metal album. I don't think
What was
that's ever
Joe's
going to happen.
30?
I'm just saying, did any of the metal albums get above a 23?
Um,
No, I think this
They
one did the
can't
best.
have.
Well, we'll
They
get
can't
through
have,
it. This
surely.
I Prevail Trauma scored
Ah.
20.5.
so I just want to say with this I Prevail album, honestly, one of my top 3 albums of last year. And you may make fun of me for this, but I thought this was my first album where I thought these guys are going to love this one. I think this is going to be the turning point for the metal album kind of thing. They're going to enjoy it because it's quite poppy. There's a lot of singing in it. And to my despise, I was wrong, so wrong. And this is one of the albums that I go back to all the time. I think this is still one of the best albums of last year. Definitely still in the top 3. And fuck you.
Things
You
we
know what?
didn't
Fuck
we
this
didn't
album.
tank it as bad as we've tanked other ones though. Like Will gave it a 5.
Oh, definitely not. I
Hayden
mean, it
gave
didn't
it-
get it didn't get
Look.
the usual. It didn't get the usual 0.5s.
But to be
Well,
fair,
it's
that hadn't happened yet. As
I don't know.
absolute
I mean,
hating.
It's still quite early on, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got 2 good songs on there. It had 2 actual, legitimately good songs.
One good song.
I'd say all of the songs on that album were great.
I mean, what you're saying is an actual lie.
I mean, it's not.
It is. It's slanderous. You'd
Definitely
be killed in medieval times for saying that.
I knew Gasoline was going to be all of your least favorites. So
It's because it was just noise.
it was because it was the most thrash out heavy song.
Again, if we throw it back to medieval times, you would be hung, drawn, and quartered for listening to this. He's listening to the devil's music again, sir.
No,
It's the devil tunes.
Backing Cat him.
I'd do that while playing. Well, not while playing. While because there's no video games in that favour. But say in medieval times, I'd be a Viking warrior killing people to that song.
To every
I don't
time
think it
you
would.
leave.
I think you'd be better.
I'm pretty sure you would have been left to die at birth, based purely on the fact that it's no, right there, your name is Joseph. Now what you've got to do is farm this one potato, and you somehow fail at that, and they're like, he's dead to me.
And you
No,
say,
what I would do-
I don't have a son.
I'd get halfway through farming the potato and then put my tools down and leave.
No,
And
and
you don't
eat the
need to do it.
potatoes.
No. Joe wouldn't do that. There's a famine, Joseph, and you ate a half-grown potato.
I just think I'd make an amazing bard in
So you have to be able
the
to play
olden times.
music to be a bard.
Yeah, I
You're
was-
right.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Next
But
album,
anyway,
Watch me
Okay.
shred Dragon Force on the loot.
With Confidence, Better Weather. I honestly struggle to remember this album.
Yeah, it was a
Me too.
throwaway.
it definitely was.
It did
a
score a
throwaway, but the thing is,
24.5, so no one hated it.
We all,
Yeah.
we all scored it quite well. I just can't really. Oh, I remember because it was the one where Will was like, "Oh, the classic pop pumpkin," and I was like, "They are classic, very classic pop pumpkin." I remember.
I remember I really liked Archers,
Mm.
and then everything else was just okay. Hence why, me and Aiden scored it a 6. Joe scored it 5.5, and Will
I
scored it a
just didn't
7.
like his voice all that much.
There seems to be a pattern that when we rate albums similarly, that almost seems to be what should be the fundamental rating for that album. You know, because we're on a wavelength, me and Denver, that
Right.
I don't seem to be on with any of the rest of you guys when it comes to music taste,
Right.
preference, and general admiration for
Mhm.
songs and albums. Me and Denver, we're closer than brothers. We're touching,
Well,
just a
that's
little bit of a
because,
touch, a little bit. Joe, whatever you're gonna say, it's not witty or funny. Fuck off.
Apart, apart from a few albums where we would then differ severe,
Well,
Yes.
you know, they're Joe albums. They're Joe albums.
or Will albums.
Well, You know, sorry, no, I want to hear the insult now, Joe. Can you?
It's ruined.
No, come on, no, it's all right. You
It's because you guys are
Yeah.
ugly.
No, I thought you were gonna say it's because we're fucking, and that is why.
I didn't say anything, and you called me ugly, bro.
What about Will?
It wasn't about you,
I
Will.
think it's about you. Fuck off.
Fuck off,
It was
Will.
about me, though, wasn't it?
It wasn't any. No,
It was.
I
Have you
love
noticed
you.
that none of us are like we've
You're
not
the-
listed anything about this album?
You're the only one that.
I really liked this album.
I was gonna say, you're
Yeah,
the only.
yeah.
You're
Come on,
the-
Will.
you're the
Try and
only
force
one.
us back on topic. Come on, keep going, Will. I believe.
I
Oh,
gave
was
it a 7. And
You're
you
the
know what?
hype man.
You're
I'm the
saying
hype
it's a
man. Come on,
throwaway.
Will. Get us in there.
Die!
Oh.
Shit, that went down.
I'm not sure if I said what this scored, but it scored 24.5.
Guess
Yeah,
I'll
and it
fucking
deserved
die.
better.
But better?
I
I gave it a
disagree.
7.
was pretty average.
Both you and
wasn't it?
Aiden gave it a 6, and then Joe gave it
Exactly.
a 5.5.
So I think that's a fair score. Like no
Yeah,
one's
yeah,
You're
tanked
talking
it down.
about it like it's trash.
No, it
Yeah,
just
but
wasn't.
good.
It wasn't
We don't remember
great. It was just meh. Okay.
Not
Whenever the
memorable.
songs come up in my playlist, I have a good time. That's all.
I do really enjoy Archers, but
What, the drink arches or the song?
both.
Wait, do
To
you
be
mean
fair,
the
to
TV
both.
show Archer?
Huh?
Although Archers is a bit sweet, it can.
The arches is very sweet.
I can have. It's
Oh.
nice to have a couple, but to try and get drunk on them, just get a
Sounds
bit
like-
sick.
Sounds like
know-
we're off topics again.
When I used to serve at the Axe and Cleaver,
Oh,
pub.
call it out by name.
archers always
sounds.
leaked,
Oh.
right?
So you were always
Archers
drinking
always
it.
leaked. No, but Archers got that much sugar in it that it literally, after it sets, it doesn't like run off anything. It sets
Right.
into like a white, horrible. To be honest, it just looks like cum.
It's commies.
Honestly, if you pour Archers on like a table or something, it literally just goes like a white gloopiness after like an hour. It's
We've
horrible.
got termites again. Joe, sort out the
So much sugar.
termites.
Oh, my lord, I can't do it.
Sort out the termites. They're everywhere. They're biting through the wood.
I'm sorry, my lord, I've got no hands.
You've got no hands. How has that happened?
Just use your fucking teeth.
You're literally
Oh.
useless to the colony.
You're
I
a fucking
can't-
wizard, Harry. Oh wait, wrong thing.
That's the wrong
It
show.
sounded very similar though.
I'll
Yeah.
put my fucking dick in the hole.
It's a
I,
classic.
man, I need to watch that video again, but like, it's probably not half as funny as we remember it being.
No.
No.
Oh, that was a classic when we were young.
Next album, Nothing But Thieves, Broken Machine.
Ah, man, I couldn't
was
be more.
trash.
I couldn't be
Oh,
more disappointed in an
Which
album.
you say that it scored a 19.5.
Didn't deserve it. No, not at all.
It
But
didn't,
this-
'cause it was one of,
This
it
album.
was.
This has happened a lot throughout this fucking review.
God, there's people talking
Constantly
over each other.
interrupt each other. We're doing it now.
This
Go,
album.
you first.
For fuck's sake!
Something wrong there.
Why is it always Joe as well?
It's always Joe. Do you know, ever since I watched back the video of Aiden getting mad at Joe interrupting, I fucking notice it's so much more now. It's Joe every fucking time.
I try and give everyone space, but then I find that I have no space. So I try to make my own.
I
Wait till it's a quiet enough, Joe.
Yeah,
quite
but then
like
it never
Amsterdam
does.
as a song. That's a good song.
Yeah, so
Good song.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everything else about the album was pretty shitty, but like, you know, I mean, they weren't bad. They just weren't memorable. It's similar to With Confidence, Better Weather, except they were slightly better.
agreed.
Well, it was
Also,
one of
fuck's sake, Joe!
I to be fair, I started talking
My
first. there.
ears, that
I-
was rough.
I started talking first.
Fucking rip headphone users. Holy shit.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Thing is that we went into this album and New Amsterdam was like the only one that kind of all of us knew going into it, and it turned out being the only good song in the album as well. That was
I mean,
There's one more song.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find that's pretty much the theme with whenever I pick an album I don't know, I just go off one song that I do. And there's a reason that one song is well known and the others aren't.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a reason that no one knows any of the metal albums you picked.
I think Sorry was pretty good as well.
Sorry
though.
was a really good song. I really like that.
Well, that's probably why I got a 4 and not a 2.
But this was the first album where we all agreed on the best song.
Really? What, this was
wow.
the OG?
This was the first one, yeah.
That's
You can
insane.
chalk that up on the Aiden board. Another thing that Aiden's done the best.
Oh, fuck off, Aiden.
Most 30s
Sure.
and first all number ones. Most handsome as well, chalked up.
Yeah,
on
so
that.
it was
Oh,
like
who has the biggest penis?
was
Oh,
this like
shit.
the first album though that like someone had picked like having really not knowing, like just knowing like one song and not really
Yeah.
knowing the band that well or knowing if you actually liked them or not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we did just say that. This is something that I just established.
Yeah, but I'm
that's
gonna cut that
okay.
out just so that only I said it.
Right, okay, but what if I say the N word?
Then I'll just mute you.
Sake.
Impossible. What if you don't expect it?
I always
What if-
expect the
what if I-
unexpected.
what if I just throw it out, you know?
Yeah,
Ninja. Ooh.
I'm always waiting by the door, waiting for the unexpected.
Nigerian. Ooh.
Next album. You see, I thought I would follow Aiden's idea of, pick an album which you know one song off in hope that the rest of the album is good. So I picked Evanescence Fallen just because of Bring Me to Life.
What a cringe.
And it's
This
got
album was-
17.
It was so cringy.
It was so bad.
Really not about that Evanescence life.
To the point where I actually scored it the lowest.
I feel
Yeah,
like
you
rightfully so.
Bring Me to Life was the only good song.
I can't remember any of the other songs.
No, me
I
neither.
can remember Tourniquet and it being fucking AIDS.
Yeah.
And Joe rated Bring Me to Life as the worst song.
I did. I'm sick of it. I remember saying this. I'm just sick of hearing that song.
It's just a Joe thing, man.
Nothing
Just
else, like,
I do
stuck
get
out.
what Joe means, but like,
But
it
he's
is
wrong.
the best song
yeah, I mean, it's not the best song, but like, you know,
on the album, I'd say.
well, I don't know. It's not even in my top 3.
Oh, shit, it isn't.
Man, look at
And
that.
Tourniquet was. God. You see,
I
this was a
actually
rare
quite like-
instance where me
Yeah.
and Will agreed.
Yeah, I like Tourniquet. I don't know why. I don't remember it.
Mm.
Can you sing it for me, Denver?
My Tourniquet. I think that was
Yeah,
a line.
it's-
I can't.
Yeah, it
actually-
was actually.
I mean, I imagine it was the chorus.
Probably.
Interesting.
You fucking idiot.
What did it get?
It's
Got
got
a fucking-
17.
Ugh.
Yikes.
On par with a Joe Metal album.
So I Prevail beat it.
Yeah, but that's because you remember this was
Rightfully
the early
so.
days of metal albums where Joe
Rated
carried
them
his
all
metal
on- yeah.
albums.
He rated them all like a 9, didn't he?
Yeah. So like they never scored that horrendously because even though we all gave it shit, Joe's like, it's fantastic. 10.
Not only that though, but I would say that I Prevail was actually better than this album.
Yeah, I probably would. Well, even though
No,
I
you
didn't
forget
rate
how
it the
bad that
same-
album was.
Yeah, you're right. We do. This
I
is always the
Prevail.
case,
I gave
though,
it a
isn't
5.
it? Yeah, but like, if you go back and listen, that might not be the case.
Guaranteed, I would much more skip one of like these songs than I would an I Prevail song.
Would you like a second go at that, but using actual literature, please?
Actual
No, I
literature.
couldn't. Fuck.
No, I can't either. Come on, Will, go for it again.
So yeah, next album, Sean James, Shadows. A Joe pick.
Artist of the up and coming game Last of Us 2.
Fucking love
Is
this
he on the
album.
new game?
Well, he's not, but
What's
the
this song?
the song that Ellie sings in the trailer is Through the Valley. When she plays the guitar, she sings Through
In the
Valley.
trailer.
Yeah, in the trailer.
Ah, right.
And that's how I knew about him because I learnt the song on guitar myself. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I learned it. It's no big deal.
I think here's the thing about this album is that it was very. I thought again, I came into it thinking, oh, gonna be one of those things. He's got a great voice, really strong voice, and then we came to the album, and you guys were like, yeah, he's quite a weak vocalist, isn't he?
He is.
And
He
I
is.
just disagree completely.
Yeah, but
I
he's
think got a
limited,
massively
although-
strong.
No,
Voice.
but there's a difference between it being strong and being limited. The bits that he can sing, he sings well, but he's always trying to push out of his reach. and because of that, it makes it sound weaker than it is. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love this album. I jumped back into Red Dead 2 when we started this, and it was like the stars aligned. I was like, this is perfect. I'm shooting O'Driscolls. I'm listening to Flow. Fucking Sean James Shadows is probably my, if we had like a golden buzzer, like other non-branded British TV show, that one of those, I would give this a golden buzzer. I would golden buzz Sean James through.
But you only gave it a 7.
Shut up.
I felt like this was just a bit. It's not. I just found it boring.
This is one that I'd go back on and rate higher. I would. Whatever Joe rated it, I'd rate it higher just because I like it more.
I found it boring.
I feel like you have to be in the right mood for it.
Yeah, you have to be shooting O'Driscolls.
I think it works perfect with like Red Dead.
Red Dead, and it did.
Oh, 100%.
But there's only a couple songs that I'd listen to outside of, and like playing a game or something. Because I don't know. Looking back, a lot of them were a bit samey.
It was really
And
difficult. So,
again, his voice was a bit.
None of the songs were samey. They were all like really weirdly unique in their own way. He did them so none of them were even remotely similar.
I mean, all I remember is the top 2 songs for me, and that's Through the Valley
that's what I
and
mean.
The Wanderer.
Like,
I'm the Wanderer.
no, wrong one.
The Wanderer.
No.
But it scored 26.5, which was the classic good album score at the time.
It must be a good album.
Things don't really score 26.5 anymore, but for a long time that was like the sweet spot.
It really was, yeah.
Then next up, we had Lewis Capaldi, Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent.
What
Woo!
a fucking album.
Yeah.
Oh. And looking
Another good
back,
one.
Joe, what the fuck is that 6 doing there?
6.
You're
Disgusting.
so wrong. This
You're
denied me.
disgusting.
Like, whenever I get a true 30, it's like denied by you or Denver.
This scored a 30.5.
Here's the thing, Will, is you're absolutely right. And I'm an idiot. I can't believe I give it a 6.
Oh, God.
It's one of those things though, like none of the like they're all so good, but like I never really listened to them on their own. Like the album as a whole, it kind of gets you in that mood and the feel of the album. So listening to just it as an album works so much better than like having it in a playlist. Like I feel like when his songs come up in my like top playlist, I often skip them because it kind of like breaks up the mood of a lot of my other picks.
Well,
If that makes sense.
I think
because I tend to pick the more upbeat, boppy songs, and he doesn't really have any upbeat, boppy songs.
I think that's the exact same reason that I kind of downrate it, is that there's no denying that Lewis Capaldi is like an unbelievably amazing singer. But the songs just didn't gel amazingly with me to the point where I was thinking, I don't listen to any of the songs outside of album review. So I think that was the biggest downrate for me, was like actual would I listen to it type of thing.
I definitely listen to the songs outside album review. I think they're fucking fantastic.
They're just too sad.
They're
the
not
point.
though.
They need to be sadder.
And looking back as well, I gave Headspace a number 1, and that was like a lot of yours. Well, I remember you saying a lot of you like didn't even like it, but looking back, number 1 for me now would have definitely been Hollywood, because after we'd like done it and everything, it's like the one song on that album that I was constantly going back to. And it actually, when Spotify did that thing at the end of the year, and it shows you like what songs were your most popular, that was like the 3rd most listened to song for me last year. Like I listened to Hollywood so much. I really like that song.
If he had the single Before You Go on it, I probably would have given it an extra 0.5 and slapped that cunt on the top of my scoreboard.
Oh, that is a great song.
I
Isn't it?
love Before You Go. It's
God.
probably one of my favourite songs at the moment, just in general.
Yeah, same.
It's funny, I actually rate this album the highest.
It's been added on to, it's like the deluxe version of the album now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I fucking love that song. That's so good.
And from a good album,
Great singer, seems like a great guy,
to a mediocre album.
Which is the one that starts with Counting Days. Is that Bruises, I think? You know, that'd be that one.
Yeah, it is that one.
Yeah, so scored a 30.5. I'm not sure, did we already talk about the true 30 thing?
I don't know if we've explained it in full.
But basically,
I think we just explained over 30. We didn't explain like what
So
a
there was-
true 30.
there's the 30 club of just scoring over 30, but then there's the true 30 where everybody gives it at least a 7.5 or higher, meaning that everybody scored it enough on their own so that if everybody else gave the same rating, it would be a 30.
Because anything else is called a carry in our eyes, and it's
Yeah,
carried by the other.
somebody's carried it.
Yeah, it's the other members of the group carry it.
Even though in this situation, all three of us combined carried it just enough to get it into that 30
Yeah, exactly.
bracket.
Like Mayday Parade is technically a carry.
Yeah, because I
Because-
rated it a 5.
because you're wrong. Yeah, because you're wrong. Agree to disagree.
Agree
But
to
you are.
disagree. But yeah, so that's the difference between a 30 and a true 30. Moving on.
Wait, hang on. Isn't a true 30? Isn't that dentist time? That's 2:30. Yeah.
Whoa.
Get it? 2:30. Dentist time.
It's falling flat again.
It's alright. We'll edit in clapping. Let me get a clean plate of clapping and cheering. Hang on. Yeah.
Whoa.
Not you. I said a clean plate, dick.
Fucking hell, Joe, always fucking interrupting.
You can't help ruining it.
Next up,
Why were you born?
Maroon 5, Songs About Jane. An Aiden throwback here, i.e.,
I'm.
just, we call it a throwback, but just an album from before 2010.
It's a throwback. I'm going to be honest. I wish Mr. What's his name? Adam Levine?
Mr. Maroon, I think his name is.
Mr. Maroon. I wish he'd never met Jane. Yeah, that's right.
I remember this
That's-
album being okay, though. Quite,
Oh,
I really like the top 3 songs.
I think that was the reason we rated it so high, was because you were super hyped to hear Sunday Morning again.
yeah,
that is a
because
good song.
yeah, like you guys hadn't really heard it before, and I was like, what a bop. It only scored 21.5, so you say we scored it well, but we kind of just all gave it, like, middle. I mean,
Mediocre,
actually,
yeah.
no, you all gave it a 5, actually, looking at it, apart from me, who gave it a 6.5.
What a carry.
So it was just a
What about Maroon
21.5 for Maroon.
I didn't
God,
like-
maybe that's why you all rated it a 5, subconsciously. Maroon 5, you're
Maroon
like, it's a 5.
It
Oh,
has to be.
you've cracked it.
I never noticed that when we did it, but holy shit.
Illuminati messages you, and it's like, delete that shit now.
Have you guys heard that song that they've just released called like Memories? That fucking hell, it's been played on the radio like constantly.
Oh,
I'm
really?
so
Sing
sick
it.
of it
Can
already.
you sing it? Sing time?
I can't. Hang on, let me think.
How
it
would
goes.
Mr. Maroon have sung it?
Sing it like
Oh.
Adam Maroon.
Da, 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 da.
Oh, yes, I do
Oh,
know that one.
Yeah. The one that rips off Cannon.
Oh,
Oh, God, it's
copyright now.
awful.
Yeah, I'm not I
It's been played so much.
and Harder to Breathe is a great song, and This Love's a great song. Oh. But I say that, I think it's only the top 3 that were good.
I think that was the problem, wasn't it? It was the
Yep.
because I actually asked my mother about this, a long time Mr. Maroon fan.
Oh
and
shit.
I was like, Mother, and she said, yes, Aiden. And I said, what's the best Maroon 5 album? And she was like, I really like Songs About Jane. Yep,
Is that why you picked
that's
it?
how that went. Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I was gonna, yeah. It's gonna make a really horrible joke there, but
You held that.
Refrain yourself.
Yeah. It was similar along the vein of Will calling his mother a slag, but like way worse.
Oh, don't bring that up
Why? I mean, we want Karen to hear this.
again. No, I don't. 'cause
She's
she'd
gonna bring
actually
it
be
up
upset.
some
No,
time.
you
that-
did this.
3 years down the line, we're still bringing up this reference.
You
Just
called
please
your
stop.
mother a slag.
Right, but it's obviously a joke.
Wow,
Well, I
she
don't
might
know.
Now I
have
just
it.
feel bad about it.
Man,
Anyway,
Ugh.
so that scored 21.5.
she's had more dick than you'd had roast dinner, son. I hate that shit. Like when people say stuff like that, like just self abort. It's execution time, and
Self-abort
you're
time.
the judge. You're the judge, jury, and executioner. Just blow your fucking brains out.
Oh my god. So yeah, this album was pretty shit, to be honest. Very
Okay.
average, very average across the board. But what did it score?
21.5.
Ah,
I've said that.
Disgusting.
disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Next up was Dua Lipa, Dua Lipa,
Oh. Oh.
Oh my god, I forgot we did
Oh.
which
Yeah, it was a
scored
good album.
which
The
scored
unexpected good
26.5.
album.
Fucking surprisingly
So that
good.
scored
did
the
I rate?
classic good score of 26.5.
Oh, I rated it 6.5. I think that's about right. Actually.
You rate it a 5.5.
Oh, I don't think that's about right.
Have you been reading wills the entire time?
I think I might have, yeah. Blow Your Mind. Mwah. Yeah.
I do
Uh,
love Dua Lipa, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably would have rated that higher because it is just feel good shit.
I think that's the problem. We've weirdly evolved from our original music taste to this weird feel good zone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that about it.
I like to feel good though, you know?
I'd like to change that. I don't feel good enough.
No.
What you need is just to
Listen to more metal albums.
to come down even more. So then the point where the happy stuff gives you even more of a boost.
So more metal albums
like
and then
an
a
upper and a
feel good
downer.
song.
Exactly. So what you need is like first like a Billie Eilish,
Yeah.
then no, hang on. First Post Malone, then a Billie Eilish, then a metal. So now your ultimate bottom,
You can't get lower than that.
Wow.
and then you have like a feel good album, and you'll be like, fucking hell, this album 10 out of 10.
It's an upper and a downer.
Thing is,
You had a bad day at school, so you go home and do cat.
Exactly.
Thing is, Aiden like baits me in. Like when I picked I Prevail, we listened to a few songs in the car, and it's like, yeah, these are good. You should do this for album review. I like this. Then I'll do it.
Saying that.
And then I'll do it, and then it'll go, shit, hated it.
To be
Like,
fair, that metal stuff was really relaxing.
Another album that is yet to come, and I will not disclose. We'll listen to is like, this is good, Joe. This bridges the gap well, and then 100% it will hate it when I do it.
You haven't picked that one.
Not yet, no. That's why I said it's undisclosed because we haven't done it yet.
And also the I Prevail one, you only showed me the songs that I picked as my top 2.
To be fair,
I'm sorry that you didn't
be fair,
show me the rest of the songs.
you got me there.
Also,
Well, I did. It's not
Yeah.
cool to call me out on something that didn't happen.
Just did call you out there.
Also, if somebody said, "Oh, Made of Parade really good," showed me Satellite, I'd agree.
Yeah.
But then I hear the rest
Show
of
you
it
the
and
rest of
disagree.
them, and you still agree because you're a fan now.
Big fan.
You're
So,
wrong.
so anyone remember anything about Dua Lipa? Dua Lipa?
Not particularly.
I remember being pleasantly surprised, and
Yeah.
I think she's a good singer. Not usually my kind of thing, but I really enjoyed it. Well, not really enjoyed it. It got 6.5 for me, but the songs when they come with my playlist, I don't skip them. I quite like them. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Then we had our most controversial album.
This was funny because this is Bon Jovi Crossroad.
It
And
rocked the foundations
here's
of
the
album
thing.
review.
Is this was going to be my first 30, and I was like, this is it. This is my first 30. I'm going to nail it. Bon Jovi, can't go wrong. What I didn't realize is one, it didn't get a 30.
So step one of Joe's master plan to get a 30 already failed.
Already failed.
He's
And then
tripped to the first hurdle.
secondly, a bit cheaty. What I didn't realize is that, well, one of the rules that we have is that we don't pick like greatest hits album or like best of albums, and this was exactly one of those.
But it wasn't
but
labeled anywhere.
In fairness to me, if you ever have a look at the album, maybe Denver would do a bit of editing and put it on the screen. Maybe
That's
It's
not.
not
already
happening.
on the screen. No, it's on the screen. Look at
It's on the screen now.
That'll
There
take a
it
lot
is.
of
Wow,
editing to do that.
it's
bit
moving
every time.
around.
And
It's not. No,
There it is.
Why
What,
is
is that
it?
a spaceship?
Oh, that's strobe lights. Oh,
You've just given someone a fit.
Explosion?
Explosions?
Have fun.
I like the idea there's just a blank white
And
screen.
is that a 1/5 replica of Godzilla destroying a giant Shanghai?
No, what's
Whoa,
happening is
explain
this
the
is
Rock
just all
Johnson.
being cut.
What?
Ah.
Nigeria. Oh, nearly.
Oh. So anyway, so if you do have a look at the album thing, it is. I think it's labeled in like small print.
It's on the
Like,
Yeah,
cover
there
art.
it is. It's right there on the screen. Wow.
Wow.
No, I'll
And-
stop.
Because we didn't
There's really
realise
tiny writing.
until we were talking about it, and I think then Will noticed. It says like,
I was like, hang on a minute, guys. If you look on the other albums, there's a lot of these songs shared between these albums. It's like,
But we dismissed it. We dismissed Will's opinion.
You
Nah.
did.
Don't know what you're talking about, Will.
oh, was it
Shut up.
I who saw the cover art then?
and then
It was
you
you-
looked,
Yeah.
and it was on the fucking cover art, like in small
It
print.
says like 14 classic groovy hits or something.
Yeah,
And I did
Oh,
wonder because like Joe picked Bon Jovi. I was like, shit, they literally all their best songs are on one album. Like a lot of these like older artists, usually you think of them quite well, but then you realize they made 10 albums and they had 2 good songs on each album, and the rest were just shit.
Yeah.
Whereas like
It's an upper and a downer.
this
This
had
had
like
just
a lot,
everything on it.
yeah, it had a lot of songs. I was surprised how many songs I knew, and I'm like, I can't believe it. This is insane.
Lo and behold, it was a Joe move.
and it doesn't count.
And it doesn't count, no.
So we didn't count it in the scoring, but it didn't. It only scored a 28 anyway, so it didn't even make the 30 club because we all gave it
I know.
6.5, other than Joe gave it an 8.5, so it scored 28.
Sad.
I can't believe I didn't have Wanted Dead or Alive in my top 3.
I know. I was just thinking that.
I
Oh
know.
well.
I think maybe
What's
it's
that?
because it was after this that we did the rock band thing, where like
Wanted Dead or Alive.
has still been like my favorite one that we've done on album review.
Mm.
Album review, rock band review.
Rock band review. Wanted.
It wasn't on my top 3 either.
Yeah, it was. Joe, you're looking at the wrong fucking list again.
You literally are. It is in your
Am
top
I?
3.
Yeah,
yes.
it's in your top 3.
Ah, God, I'm looking at Will's again.
For fuck's sake, Joe.
This is why we should be able to edit, so we can like list our columns in a certain color.
One of the most fantastic albums ever picked on album
Wrong.
review.
You're wrong.
Oh, so good.
Oh.
What? Can't hear you from the 3.5.
So
Yeah,
the
'cause
next
you're
album
wrong.
was Post Malone's Stony,
Boo.
Oh, such a
To be fair, Aiden, you are wrong.
which scored 25.5.
Fucking post sucks.
But to be fair, this was a bit of a carry score because Aiden gave it a 3.5, I gave it a 6, and Joe gave it a 6.5, but then Will gives it a 9.5.
You're
In all
wrong.
fairness, it's like my favourite artist, and I love this album so much. It's so good, and it got me into him, and I just love it.
Is it
What a
like,
guy.
you know, in the 30 Seconds to Mars video, where they're all like, it changed my life, music changed me forever. Are you like that, but with this album?
No, but I got so like, so you know when you're proper
Do you?
getting into an artist you never heard of, it's just like, it was amazing. And at the time I was listening to it, I was like watching loads of videos about him and stuff, and I fell in love with the guy. I just love him. I'd marry
do
him.
you yet regret having the tattoo on your leg?
I don't
of his
regret it
face?
at all. I actually
No?
fucking love it. And do you know what? It's such a good conversation starter. As they judge
just-
me for
You
having
just
a
walk into a coffee shop and you're like, hello, I've made a massive mistake.
But I reckon I've got like proof of being an OG fan because I've got his first like proper hairstyle when he released that album.
And before
Yeah,
I got this
ruined his
tattoo when he'd
face.
only released this album. So if he'd like
Yeah, but
if it was a
anyone can.
one-hit wonder, then it would have been quite embarrassing.
Yeah, but
That's
like
my
anyone can
faith.
look. Yeah, but anyone can look at an old photo and get that drawn.
No, I disagree.
I mean, doesn't Denver
history
have a
doesn't
tattoo?
exist.
Denver has a tattoo on his arm of Post Malone when he was just a sperm cell.
You
Now
mean
people are going to
pencil
think I
dot?
have a sperm cell tattoo.
It's
I
just
hope
a
so.
dot. You got stabbed by a pen. There you go. Cleared up the
There you
story.
go, cleared up the story. I have a dot on my arm from being stabbed by a pen. Well, not by a pen, with a pen.
In my opinion, he wasn't stabbed hard enough.
Also, Post Malone follows me on Instagram.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck. Will.
To be fair, it was one of those like there was a lot of meh on the album, but I did really enjoy the best top
You're right,
songs on
Denver.
that.
You're right. There was a lot of meh. It was all of it. It was all meh.
Right, you only say this because you don't really like him. You
Listen
don't
here,
want
boy.
to like him.
It'll be fighting time. Don't you
It
even?
is fighting time.
Don't you even?
I will defend him to the death.
It's the same. It's the same with my metal albums. You guys only
No,
rate
no,
Broaden
no,
because
no,
you're not into
definitely
that.
not.
No,
Right.
You're
Definitely.
right.
Right? No, no, not having it. Not having it.
We're having a dispute, and Joe's like, "Am I a metal?" No,
No, not having
Nope.
it. Not having that. Not having that. I'm right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
You
whatever.
know, it's music subjective.
No, it isn't.
It is, to be fair.
We
but-
tell people what they like.
Because we're professionals now.
That's why Denver likes Mayday Parade.
'Cause I think
There
you're
you
just
go,
gonna
look.
do one of those. You're just gonna say it enough that you'll confuse.
You'll
everything.
believe it.
I'll
You've
be like,
got
I like
Stockholm.
Mayday Parade.
It's Stockholm Syndrome time, boys. You've got it.
Man.
Oh, just I couldn't say enough about this album though. It's so good.
You're right.
I mean,
if anything, you said too much.
I probably have not. It's great.
Oh, fuck that album.
Next up,
Moving on.
the script, Science and Faith, an Aiden pick, scoring again 25.5. So it's got the same as Post Malone, his first album.
Wrong.
Because it just across the board got generally again, like everybody rated it between a 6 and a 7. So it's just a generally alright album, I guess, for the most part. The script.
It's a bit of a throwback.
I think
Yeah,
it
I
reminds
used
me
to listen
of
to that
Mr.
album.
Maroon's albums.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like
like that, but
rating-wise.
more depressing.
I have fond memories of when I used to go to Scouts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Youth
Right.
Club.
One of my best mates' dads loved the script, and he used to put it because I got a lift from my best mate's dad there, and he always used to have that album on every single time. But
That
I
was
really
back when
liked
you didn't
it,
have a
so-
choice. You had to pick one album, and that's what you had in your car for every journey.
No, I always liked it, but not as good as I remembered it being. To be fair,
No. But
Yeah, I mean,
it
yeah,
scored
it was
well, though.
alright. It was alright. It was good. It was worse than I remember it being. But, you know, much like life, you get jaded. You know, like this happens. You look back on things you once thought fondly of, realize they weren't as good as you believe that they were, and you end up fucking spiraling because you can't remember why your nostalgia brought you to this point. You don't realistically realize that any of the things that you've actually done up until this point are even a fabric of your imagination.
That's deep, bro.
I'm just saying, I remember it being better, just like I remember Crash Bandicoot being awesome. Open your eyes, sheeple. Spyro shit.
Imagine just shouting that in a kid's face who goes, I love Spyro.
open your eyes.
Open your goddamn mind.
Listen here, you little shit. You just collect gems. Go play Fortnite.
Man. But I can't believe you put This Equals the Love as your worst song.
Which one was that one? Can you sing it for me?
No.
Why?
Moving on. So next up was Against the Current Past Lives. Now me and Joe, big fans of Against the Current.
Yes. I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm like, oh, is this space to talk? I don't know. No, I would have totally. I mean, I rated this album. I don't want to look at Will's. I need to make sure. Is it 8? I rated this album an 8.
Yes.
I feel like that's fair. I feel like it's fair for this album. Great. Oh God, I think I said. I think we both agreed that the other album was better.
Yeah.
This is definitely the more poppy of the two albums that they have out. And then we went to see them live. We went to see Against the Current live, and it was so good.
And
We met them. I had a mental breakdown. I wasn't that bad, but I did have a bit of a breakdown. But yeah, great album. I'm actually listening to this album a lot more since we went to see them, or just the songs on the album, not particularly the album, but like the good songs from the album.
Yeah.
I've just started listening to them a lot more recently, and I'm just I love this band.
And it did score the classic 26.5.
It means it is a good album.
Even
I
though
know,
you
but
could
I
argue,
think you
though,
carried it, didn't they?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I scored at 8.5, but then on the bottom end, you had Will scored at a 4.
To be fair,
What the
though-
fuck was that about?
No, hang on. I could definitely justify Will's because this album felt so unbelievably just like it was hashed out. It was like they were going through the motions. All of them had the same structure, it had a generic beat. None of the lyrics were particularly inventive. It was almost like they were forced to basically just be like, just do content, safe content. Don't do anything, like don't push a boat out. Just sit with what you've got. And that's all they did. They made an entire album of just basically nothing.
I disagree.
Because while all the songs were good because they were against the current, none of them stood out as being anything more than that. And if anything, that
I
brought
agree.
the rating down.
So that's
I will
why
say-
Will gave it a 4. But Will, why did Aiden give it a 6?
Because of all the things he just said, but he
Oh,
still
nice.
like
The
stuff.
old switcheroo.
All right, I thought you were gonna like explain Will's Joe. Fuck
No,
Aiden's rating.
Well,
I remember the reason that like me and Will both kind of agreed that this wasn't as good as it could have been. Because we've heard other Against the Current songs and we know what they're like. And we know that they can write really good music. And if anything, this album was more of a letdown than it actually was like bad.
I will say though, like, I probably would rate it higher now because, like, I wouldn't say it's because I saw him. Like, I saw him at Leeds Fest with you, Denver, actually, and they were pretty good live. But it wasn't even that. Like, I've liked it more as I've listened to it more over time. As it's like, come on, who's clicking?
It's not me. It's Aiden.
No, I just did it then just to take the piss. That wasn't me the first
It
time.
wasn't me.
It must have been Joe.
It literally wasn't.
It's the can thing. Joe did it.
It wasn't me.
Well,
Aiden planted it.
the point I was trying to say is that, like, I like it more than I did. Definitely.
It's
but I still don't
fucking
think it's-
Joe!
It literally was Joe.
It literally isn't me.
I literally saw your
You
mic
could
that
just see
time.
it through the mic.
Like,
What are you
it's
doing?
fucking Joe just denying
What are you
your
doing?
evidence
not
again.
doing anything.
What are you playing with?
I'm not playing with any.
Are
I
you
literally
fiddling
got
with
nothing
something?
in my hand. No.
No. So what the fuck's the noise?
Don't know.
You don't know.
Might be a mic issue. I don't fucking know.
That doesn't sound like a mic issue. That sounds like something in the room that's
Could be
clicking.
my
clicking.
chair. Hold on, right. If I rock my chair back and forth, can you hear it?
Yeah, I
We
can, but
hear
it doesn't
but
make
it's
that
not the
noise.
same
It's like a.
It's like a very sudden click.
I genuinely have no idea what it is.
No, want that. You can hear the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want
Anyway,
that? Yeah.
I was just trying to say that I like it more than I did since, like, listening to it a lot more since we reviewed it. Like, when the songs come up, I actually quite enjoy them, but I still stand by that, like, it's nothing fantastic, and like Aiden said, there's nothing. Yeah, there's just nothing outstanding about it, and it's all kind of. I don't know. It's just, yeah. But she's got a good
but
voice.
like you rated it less than average though.
I know, but I have said, like, I would change that now.
Okay.
Like, I'd probably give it a 5.5 to be fair, or something.
If anything, I'd go lower, just purely remembering the anger that I felt based on like not expressing yourself. Chrissy, you're better than this, and the other members of the band that no one knows.
I did pick this album, and then I remember while listening to it myself thinking, should have picked the other one, because I forgot how many good songs were on the other one.
Hmm.
Or maybe, there's always time.
There is. There is always time. Talking of always time, and how you can waste time, Architects Holy Hell.
Oh, what a band! Ah.
Now, I feel like this was the moment in which the difference in Joe liking metal and us disliking it really peaked. So this album I think it's the lowest rated album, is it? Or did it say anything rate low?
I think it is the outstanding lowest rated album. Yeah.
I thought there was another one just
Yeah, I thought
purely
there was
based
another
on
one.
like Joe rated one like a 7.
Oh yeah,
no.
okay, yeah, there is one lower. But so this scored 11.5.
I mean, it would
Architects,
have
holy
got
hell.
so
Do you want
much
to just go for everyone's rating so like we know who shit on it?
Okay, so
Which
just
is
so we
pretty
can pick out the people who shit on this album. So Aiden gave it a 1.
Yeah, I did.
I gave it a 0.5. Will gave it a 1. So you're thinking everybody hates this album. No. Not Joe. It's a 9 out of 10 for Joe.
It's definitely a 9. Oh, what an album!
Worst
Great
album we've had.
Just I really want to go see them live because oh god, just all the guitars are so technical.
It's
His
just
voice
all
is just
screaming.
incredible.
It's all just,
Yeah, but it's like scream singing. Like he's doing like
No.
shouty, like
Nope.
shouty
No, it's
singing.
not.
It's great.
We
It's
all
like not-
agreed.
It's not even like particularly heavy. It's just melodic and
Oh,
it's
so
so good.
relaxing.
There's no melody to that. There's
There
literally
literally
no
is.
melody.
I've even watched videos.
What, you've seen them live?
No, I've watched
They're like,
videos
well.
online of like vocal coaches even being like, "Oh my god, like that's cool that he's doing that with his voice." It's
I
really.
bet these
clever
vocal
and-
coaches.
Wow, whoa, this guy, he's like the Jesus of music. Could you even imagine being able to sing like Mr. Architect himself?
Did these
knew
vocal
you were gonna react.
coaches? Did these vocal
Yeah.
coaches have like a bolt through their nose?
Wow.
Were they all over the age of 50 and still had
No,
mullets?
there weren't even like metal vocal coaches. Like,
They were just normal vocal coaches.
But if he's
Like-
so good
like-
at singing, why doesn't he
It's just-
sing?
but even like he played. He does sing, and they
Wrong.
played at Leeds like a couple of years ago, didn't they?
Oh, that's great.
Mm.
At least 3 people turned up.
You
to
guys
see
are
that.
just very biased, and you just don't see the value in it that I do, and that's fine.
I mean, it
Well,
definitely shows that we're biased against it.
It disappoints me,
But there's a reason that we're biased against it.
and there's a reason that I am biased against it.
What?
There's a reason that I'm biased
For it,
Ag-
not
against
against.
for it. For
Right, okay. Hang on a minute, sorry. Shut up!
it.
Sorry. Let's go back to shitting on architects a little bit
Sorry.
more.
So this album had something in common with fucking Nothing But Thieves, in that we all agreed on the favourite song of Doomsday, because it was the only song that had any non-screaming in it for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I
Would
remember
any of you guys listen to Doomsday outside of album review? Or
Never.
have-
No.
I've never listened
No.
to it again since.
that. I'd be actively ashamed to be listening to that.
It does sadden me. It does. It makes it hard to
saddens me.
sleep.
It saddens me that people would like drive up to a McDonald's drive-through blasting that. Can I have my 20 nuggies? In the background, it just sounds like someone's like fucking smashing a bucket.
It's just a brand new Doomsday.
Hi, I'll have some nuggets, please.
Such a good song.
Wrong. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
So yeah, 11.5 should have been the worst song. Should have been the worst album, really.
Hitler listened to Architects.
I mean,
and
it
thought, you know
was
what? I
for
should
a
build a
hell of
tank.
a long time. Like a long time, this was the worst album.
No.
I think it still deserves to be the worst.
Next up,
Hmm?
Mika, Life in Cartoon Motion. Another throwback because it was before 2010. Picked by Will. And this scored 27.5, slightly above the classic good score.
It's quite a rare score, that is.
Yeah, it is.
Very rare score.
No one go to say about it?
Well, I'm actually going to say, I was listening to Mika the other day because I remembered it. And I was like, oh my God, Mika, we did Mika in album review. And I just put it on Alexa and
Yeah.
we're just banging it out. And while my parents and my girlfriend was looking at me like they didn't.
We're also banging it out.
No, they did. They were like,
That's hot.
what's he doing? And I was like, do you not remember Mika? And literally how good all this stuff is.
So here's the thing.
Mhm.
I gave this an 8.
I don't think it deserves an 8.
Every time a Mika song comes up,
Just-
I skip. I just can't listen to it. So I remember this album very fondly, and I think it's great. And I think it's got some good songs on it. But I'm just seem to be in this thing now where I just can't listen to it without being like, "Oh, fuck off." I don't know what's going
It's
on.
a very unique voice, isn't it, in style?
I think you just have to be in the mood for it, and
You definitely have to be in the mood for it.
I think that's why I
I
rated
dunno.
it low, because I'd heard it. I listened to it a lot. It was one of the few albums I had heard fully through many times when I was younger.
I think I'd rate it much lower if I went back to it. I remember it being pretty cringy and just like, and also, you know what upset me? Mika went into like the live lounge thing on the radio, and like he can't hit them notes.
No, he sings just like normally now, doesn't he? He doesn't do his
He
thing.
can't hit the notes.
I think he
It's-
killed his voice when he was younger. Because you forget when he had this album out, he was like my age.
It's sad, isn't it? It's sad. You know what? That I feel like that just symbolizes the death of music and its inevitable downfall.
That's why Billie Eilish will go on forever, because it doesn't strain her.
Yeah, because she's not trying.
It's clever. It's good.
Yeah, it's smart.
But yeah, obviously it had the classic Grace Kelly on this album, but which most of us said was our favourite other than Aiden.
Sorry, not classic Ring Ring.
That we so many times, I mean we haven't mentioned it, but so many times through these albums have three of us agreed on a worse song. But still at this point we hadn't yet agreed on a worse song ever.
When did that come up?
I don't know, we'll run into I know when it comes up, I've just seen it.
Oh, okay,
Spoilers. But yeah, so Mika, again, like Will said, almost like I never listened to Mika really. But it was so good at the time because it was so different and so unique. But
it really was. Yeah,
I feel like it's one of them like growing up British things, isn't it? It's like liking them and scouting for girls while being at a barbecue with all the adults just walking around going like so.
But then they're playing at Grimsby Auditorium now, so that's why you know they've fallen from grace.
Poor Mr. Mika.
Poor Mr. Mika. Although he does a lot, he does like the French and Italian version of The Voice, I think now. He's like one of the voice coaches.
I thought you meant he sang in French and Italian.
I think he can.
Je ne sais quoi, je ne sais plus.
Next up, Panic at the Disco, Vices and Virtues.
I
Vice
wanted
and
another
Virtues.
30. I was hungry for that 30. I was like, taste it. Vanilla, breathe it in. Need another 30.
And
I
son,
got
did you
one.
get it?
Fucking right, I got
33, this got.
it. Ooh.
But not a true 30,
Not a true 30. Not a true 30. Why, Denver? Why wasn't it a true 30?
because I gave it a 7.
Because you let me down.
Everyone else gave it an 8 or 9.
Brandon Urie hates you.
I think it's because I really liked a few of the top songs, but then the rest of them are kind of like, they're good, but they ain't bopping.
Sarah Smiles is such a bop.
I'm not
Sarah
a fan of Sarah
Smiles is a
Smiles.
great
Although
bop.
my favourite song was your least favourite song, Aiden. Like, I
Yeah, I
fucking
really-
love Ready to Go.
Not a big fan.
The Calendar I like a lot more now. But other than that, on the rest of the album, not a huge fan.
It's weird. The thing is, you picked, like, other than the calendar, the other two that you picked would be classed as some of my least favourite ones on there.
Very varied top threes in this.
I
album
feel
as
like
well,
that's
which
because
always shows for a good album.
usually, yeah,
Or
if
a
the
bad
top
album.
threes, if the top threes are different, they're usually good.
Yeah, it means
Like
they're
that.
all like close.
Yeah, pretty much. Whereas if they're like a pretty, a solid, they're all the same. It usually means they're bad, especially if you get an all four the same favorite, like Doomsday with Architects. You know that was the only good song on the album, and even then, it wasn't a good song.
It was. I mean, it is.
But I think another reason I downrate this album is because a lot of the songs had where it ended, and there was 20 seconds of just like talking in the studio.
Yeah, I don't like it when they do that on songs and albums and stuff because
It's
no one wants to
artistic.
hear it.
No, it's artistic.
I like
no
it.
one wants to hear it.
See, look, Will likes it. Will's one of those people.
What is it about it that you like, Will?
No,
Like,
literally nothing. Will doesn't care.
what do you enjoy?
There's like a bit in A Day to Remember It. I quite
Yeah,
like
I
it
know
when
what song you
it's-
mean in Common Courtesies.
Yeah, I can't remember
Yeah.
what they say, but like, there's some stuff that it's just like from the studio that they've just kind of put in that just
Yeah.
happen naturally, and I quite like when they do that because I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
if it
just
adds to
different,
the
isn't it?
song, then yes, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's literally the song ends and then they're just
And then
talking
there's
for
just
20
talking.
seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it doesn't always work. Like I don't get it in that, but I'm just saying that in some stuff it does work.
Yeah,
And I
to
You're
quite
be
not
like
fair,
backtracking, are you, Will?
there was a song that's from an album from Joe picked, and it starts off. It's on one of the metal ones. It starts off with them just talking, and then it goes instantly. It's the only good part of the entire song.
It's because it's not metal.
Yeah, it's,
Which one was
I
that?
can't remember. They talk for a minute, and then it's like a cool like guitar thing, and that 10 seconds is the only good part of the song. What is it? It might be on fucking. It's not I Prevail. I think it's on one of the later ones we did that we also rated horribly. But
Panic at the Disco, really good album. Really enjoyed it. It was a 30, but not a true 30 because Denver fucked me.
and then next up, we had Pink. Hurts to Be Human.
P exclamation.
And I
mark
picked this
inside.
just after I'd seen Pink live, and she was amazing. Hence why I picked it. And I loved this album. I gave it an 8.
When was that like the highest by a fair amount? What did Will give it?
7.
Oh, okay, maybe not then. If anything, it was quite spread out, quite evenly.
Yeah, so it scored
quite like this
27
album.
overall.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Pretty good. Hey,
That's pretty good.
that's pretty good.
And I feel like this is one of the. She must be like, not say one of the few eyes, but I think this album to me proved that because obviously she initially became big from her earlier albums, right?
Mhm.
And she's still able to put out good albums now, and I think that's pretty impressive.
she is consistent. Like
It's not
I
like
think every album has like a few really good hits on it.
whereas, and they were actually being played like on the radio.
Yeah,
Whereas when I think to like, similar to Pink, I think of like Avril Lavigne, right, who was also really popular that sort of time, like in those early days.
Are you implying that there's going to be a drop-off period where, like, she's just going to fade into obscurity?
Well, no, I'm saying that's
No, I
already
don't think
happened
she
for
ever
Avril
will.
Lavigne.
No?
Like, has anyone heard any song from a new album?
What,
No.
Avril... Wait, there's a new album?
wait,
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne is still alive.
This is what I mean. Avril Lavigne is still pumping out music, but you don't hear since after about 2012, you don't hear about it anymore.
It's the algorithm, bro.
Pink is an
It's the
inspiring woman.
Whereas Pink is still, and she's phenomenal live. Like I was so impressed. Considering before
And-
having
and-
seen it, I wasn't like a Pink fan. I just happened to have the opportunity to see her live, so I thought, why not? And it completely changed my perspective on her, and I thought she was brilliant. Hence why.
Would you like her to stamp on your testicles?
Not really. I don't know what that would help.
Moving
I
on.
mean, to be fair, it probably wouldn't help. My swimmers, they're all dead!
Sorry, that's where you got 2.
Yeah, man.
Next
You
up,
got 2. Just stomp on 1.
Def Havana, Old Souls.
Ah, is this my first 30?
This was Joe's first and
my
only
first and only 30. Yeah.
30,
Oh.
scoring 30.5, but not a true 30.
Only Joe.
So I scraped through.
Literally scraped by the minimum of
Almost
what
the
it would need.
minimum, yeah.
It's got the same as Lewis Capaldi.
But Lewis Capaldi's album was just... Well, to be fair, they're not really comparable kind of thing.
No, I remember picking this album and thinking, like, because I've heard most of the Def Havana albums, and I was like, I don't know which one that Denver, because I know Will like it. I definitely know Aiden will like it. I was like, I just don't know which one Denver will like more.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was the most like party anthem.
You literally picked it
Kind
to
of
try and
one.
get a 30, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I wanted
God,
a
that-
30.
That's so shallow.
And he
Wow.
just got it.
Aiden, don't you do that on a reg?
What?
What?
On a what?
On a reg.
Are you
On a
okay?
car reg.
On a reg.
He means
On a
on the reg,
registration.
as in on the regular.
If you can
On
fix a
the reg.
reg, You can fix an AC-130 gunship.
Reg means regular.
Wrong.
I can remember the song 22,
Slang.
and then other than that, I don't really remember. I just remember it being kind of like a few boppy songs. The rest were okay, hence why I gave it 6.5.
You remember Caro Padre?
I don't.
Well,
I am my father's.
Oh shit! Is that song?
that's
Yeah.
that song.
That's I am my mother's daughter. That's not the
That's
lyrics.
that one.
But shit, that was this. That was them.
That was
Fuck's
that
sake.
song. Yeah.
This is the thing.
That's
We
the
make
thing.
we make references to all these songs, but then we can't remember where it was from, or at least in my case.
Oh, Will, you didn't even have it in your top 3, but like I could have sworn that was like your favorite.
It wasn't my favourite. I just really liked it, and I didn't like how all of you were shitting on it.
It's
I mean,
just
it's the worst song.
It's terrible lyrics, man.
But it was powerful, you know?
Why was it powerful?
It's just talking about his dad, you
He
know?
was his father's son.
Yeah,
Made me
but-
cry. I cried.
Why did you
cried.
cry?
Don't be honest.
No,
You cried.
I didn't.
Don't be honest. Be honest.
No.
You cried.
Come on, don't bring that up. I didn't cry.
I have a dad.
Yeah, those are pretty much the lyrics.
Powerful shit.
Powerful. Technically, in some way, shape, or form, we all have a dad.
Now, Joe, I want to know though. Do you actually
Yeah.
rate that album a 9, or did you just think I need to give maximum chances of a 30, so I need to rate it as high as possible? But a 9.5 or 10 is too far, so 9's okay.
It's definitely a 9. I don't think I would be dishonest in the case of trying to get a 30 now.
I
Doubt.
would say, since seeing them live, not as big a fan.
I
So
agree.
am I.
Me and Will went
Me
to go
and
see it.
Joe and
And-
Lisa.
And
Well,
here's
what
the
about me?
thing: is that they just seem like arseholes. Like,
Whoa.
well, I wouldn't say even that they seem like arseholes. They were kind of just complaining all the time. They're like, "Oh, we've been on tour."
Right.
They're like, "We've been on tour for 2 weeks and we're knackered." So,
Yeah.
sorry. And I was
It's
like,
like
don't,
all these
like,
people
bands
doing
go on tours for like years. Like,
Ed Sheeran did it for
I
like
know.
2 years, didn't he?
Yeah. And they'd been on tour for 2 weeks and they were like, oh, so tired, you know? And I was like, fuck off.
They just
This
look
is your
miserable.
job.
Like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say it must be hard doing what you love for the rest of your life.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I mean the
Wow.
music was good. It was just like they just looked knackered.
Do you remember
type
though,
of thing.
Joe? They had loads of like difficulties as well, like technical
They did,
difficulties.
Yeah, they couldn't
They
hear
had to keep
themselves.
like,
It was like, sorry if this is shit. It's not what it sounded like in sound check. Here's the
Yeah.
next song. Like,
Oh, it was
like, it was
really
that type
weird.
of thing.
Kind of
Yeah.
makes it a bit awkward then, doesn't it? It's like, what am I supposed
Yeah.
to say to that? Like, no,
Yeah.
guys, you're not shit. It was great. Woo!
Yeah.
what was good was the LaFontaines that came on before him, which was just this Scottish. Is Joe
What a
gone in
nice
the bath
guy.
or something?
Sorry, no, I dropped something.
In the
It's
back.
like there was like this Scottish band that came on before as like the guests, and they were like the lead singer was absolutely mental.
It was
And
so
just-
funny.
He was coming out in the crowd, and he was like don't get me wrong, I would not listen to that music at home. Like,
Do you remember that one woman that didn't like his music, and it was like he made the effort to go down to her, like you're
Yeah.
gonna like my music. That's my Scottish accent, by the way.
It was fantastic.
Which
Thank
he was
you.
really funny. And
It was really funny. I shook his hand, didn't I?
Yeah, he did. It was good. But moving on. Lego.
But yeah. Next up, Don Broco, Priorities.
Oh,
Ugh.
yes.
What did this album get?
This scored 20. I've lost it.
Couldn't have been
22.
a lot. Okay, fair enough.
Come on,
22.
Denver. I want to hear you say it would be higher. Because you played it a lot when we went on holiday.
Did
It
he
probably
though?
would
Did
be
he?
higher now, to be fair.
No.
Yes.
No.
Just to counteract that, I'd make mine lower.
Because
And
Same.
also, you were all singing along on the holiday, and you're all like, "Oh, don't like it." But every time a song came on, you was
Yeah,
proper
but
going
what
for it,
songs? They didn't have any good songs.
so- They do.
I really
She was
enjoyed
singing-
all my top 3 that I picked.
What was it like? Priorities? I think that was
Yeah.
the only song that came on.
No,
I
there was
always-
a lot on
Holiday?
Zoe's playlist.
I always.
But I
mark
had some from
priorities.
other albums as well, to be fair.
Because
True.
if there's one weird thing that I really hate about when people sing, but instead they're like how about in this part of the song, instead of singing like I would normally sing, how about I just talk? How about I just fucking talk through this bit?
I
Well, instead
kind
he
of,
just
I
the
kind of
whole
started to
song.
like that though. Like I was saying that to Will, and Will thought I was using it as an insult.
It
Oh,
should be
yeah.
an insult.
I was like, it does sound like he puts in a voice though, and Will's like, you what? I'm like, no, but I like that.
Will just goes into fight mode. Okay, what
That's the thing. You could say like people putting on a voice for like a lot of artists. Now. Like I reckon, as good as Lewis Capaldi is,
Yes.
he's definitely putting on like a voice. And like
Yes.
similar with your James Arthurs, your
Yeah,
Tom
but
Grennan.
there's very much a difference
Yeah.
between that and then just saying, "Oh, we prioritize."
That's just his voice, and it.
That is not his voice.
Yes,
If
it
that's his
is.
voice,
That
he's
is
going to
not
need to
his
drop
voice.
him a few more times.
Right.
What?
I think the thing with this album though, right? It took me a while to like, until the final time I listened to it, I would probably rate it similar to how Aiden and Joe rated it. Like Aiden gave it a 3.5, Joe gave it a 4. But I remember just listening to it. I think I was playing Spider-Man at the time, and I was like, shit, I'm actually starting to like this now. So then but it was still at that point that it had only just started, so I still gave it only a 5.5 because I was like, it's kind of okay with a few good songs.
I mean, that's why we listen to them. We listen to every album 3 times, except Joe.
Except
But, like,
Joe, who cheats.
Who cheats?
I've never.
But that's the reason for it. Is because like you can actually grow to like an album that you initially dislike. Just look at me and Billie Eilish.
Not a good example there, Aiden.
No, I still don't like her, but that's not the point.
But yeah, so that obviously that's another thing we didn't explain at all. It's probably going to be about 2.5 hours into this now.
Don't get me
But
wrong,
we had a
she's cool
rule
person.
to listen
She's
to
cool.
every album at least 3 times before doing your review.
It's in the album review bio. Don't worry.
Oh,
Is it?
If you look on the playlist, the actual album review playlist, I've done like a little
Oh, do you have a rules list on there?
description, and I've put like the rule. Hang on,
Yeah,
I'll
but
get
I
it up
can't
while
read.
you keep talking.
Yeah, but I can't read.
But yeah. Oh, and to be fair, I haven't got it in my top 3, but I just seen "Let's Go Back to School" in Aiden's least favorite. I do actually remember that one. I did quite like that one.
Yeah, I hate that one. It was really cringy.
Oh, and yeah, man, I
One where
forgot
he
about
talks
that one.
about bike sheds and hanging out.
What? No, you're thinking
I've
of the
just seen-
Wombats.
See, I can't remember a lot of the songs on that album, but having seen now Joe's least favorite, yeah, man, I did like that one as well.
Oh God.
See, I probably wouldn't.
Maybe he did.
I don't think I'd
Maybe
rate
he
it like a 7, but maybe like a 6.5. I think I'd give it another point. on that
Ooh.
album.
Well,
And we'll give it a 9.
yeah, that's right.
I love Don Broco. They're one of my.
Really?
They're in my top 5 bands.
Me
I think
as
as well, just seeing how good I've seen them live a few times now, and they're so good live. They're one of the best bands I've seen live, just because of how they get the crowd and all their music works to be played live, kind of thing. They're really good, and I'm going to drag Denver to one to prove him
Ooh.
how good they are
Nice.
when they next tour.
Didn't you hate Don Broco when you first saw them? 'Cause
So
you
this
saw
is the
them as
thing.
A thingy artist, didn't you?
Yes, because Yumi at 6, they were. So I saw Don Broco live before they released their first album, because they
Flex.
played
Like me and
guest
Secret.
stars at a Yumi at 6 concert.
But the thing is, you can't even flex saying you're an OG like fan.
No, because I didn't like them.
You fucking
But
hated them.
I feel like my opinion was kind of thingy, because the reason I didn't like them is because there was these 2 Don Broco fans at this Yumi at 6 concert that were absolute arseholes and were just like trying to start fights with everyone, just being absolute dickheads. And that kind of just completely like, oh, I don't want to listen to Don Broco, the fans are arseholes, instead of just actually listening to them and seeing how good they were. And yeah, since then, seeing them live a few times, they've been great. I love them. In my like top 5 bands of all time, I love them. But yeah,
And it turns out the fans are assholes.
I'm a fan, bro.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
That was the little joke.
That was the joke.
Oh, there was
I
a
got your joke, Joe. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Can we
That's
have
me.
that joke delivered again, but can you deliver it in a voice that sounds like Mickey Mouse?
That's me.
It
No.
turns out the fans Assholes.
I means you will.
He's had you there, Will.
Speechless.
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 This is the fucking album review shit that we get triggered by certain words now. Like anytime someone says speechless, I just think of that song. Anytime someone says the word issues or headspace, I just think of
Hero.
Who the fuck outright just says headspace? Damn, get in my headspace.
Exactly.
Issues? What? Never? How did you get in here?
Headspace.
Headspace.
Next up, Pierce the Veil, Selfish Machines.
Yeah. That was me. That was my pick.
This
It
scored
says alternate. Sorry, go on.
21.5.
You know what?
I'm
Go on.
salty about how high. I know it's not a massively high rating, but I'm salty about how high it got compared to other metal.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Yeah,
I
to be
did.
fair, there's a very distinct difference between this and the albums.
He doesn't
picked.
scream.
He sings.
He fucking does scream.
he
What the
does
fuck
scream.
is wrong with you?
But
He does scream,
90%
but
of
it's
it is
good
him
scream.
singing,
And he sings mostly.
and he is singing. Although, like Denver doesn't even like his voice.
No, to be
he's
fair,
still singing.
Joe is speaking as if like he feels hard done by because we rated it higher. I still rated it just as shit as other metal stuff.
However, if anything, I'd rate it higher.
I think
As would
I gave I Prevail higher than this.
I think I would give this album higher if I were to go back.
I really, really like Pierce the Veil's Selfish Machines. I just, like, I don't even know it's fucking great. I love it. It's so hype.
We listened to it on the way back from the holiday, didn't we?
We were fucking screaming.
Oh my
it.
god, I forgot. I just did not give this a good enough rating. It's so good.
There are so many
The
good
drumming,
songs.
the guitar, like they're insane.
You know, actual complexity in the guitar. Could you even imagine?
I didn't even realize like the kind of Spanish style that's in them as well. Like
I love it. I fucking love it.
There's nothing like it. I think they're great.
It's very, if anything, it probably is one of the more unique albums that we've actually done. Not based on like the specific music, but the actual style behind it.
Yeah,
definitely.
I was listening to it earlier actually.
Fucking,
you kind of got me into it again after.
Yeah, sorry. I just after we rated it and I gave it a 6, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's good. It's like listen to it 3 times, and then 3 times turned to 4, and then 4 turned to 6, 6 turned to 48, and eventually I was just like, fuck, I love this album so much.
It's good.
That's crazy, isn't
I'd
it?
probably give it an 8 now.
I'd probably also give it an 8. Like I think
I would give it less.
That's fair. Honestly, like I can understand why you wouldn't like it. Whereas when I look at Mayday Parade, I'm like, I don't know how you can't like this. Like he's just so good, and the music's so just awesome. But like I can definitely see the flaws in this style of music.
Like, yeah, I just didn't like his voice at all. So then I didn't like any of the songs.
Yeah, that's fair. We always bring up the fact that we're quite vocal heavy in our albums and ratings and stuff. When we pick something, it's usually because of standout vocals as opposed to actual standout songs.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say I'm like that though.
No, Will, you're literally the polar opposite of that. You will pick any random one and try and spin the reason that it's been your favorite from the start, and how you raised the song since it was a child.
I won't say I'm polar. I appreciate good singers, but I also think people that can't necessarily sing that well can also still make some like amazing music.
Lil Nas.
I agree.
Lil Nas. Yeah.
Like me and JMMD, but out now on Spotify.
Luckily, you
What
cut
album
out
are we
there
up to?
just
Fuck
naturally,
you.
so I couldn't hear what you
Don't
said. No, I don't need to cut you. Discord did it for me.
Oh,
literally
that's
did.
so fucking annoying.